Chapter 100, The Ultimate Artifact, The Destruction Dragon Spear, The Dragon God's Tears. Wherever Chu Chen's gaze landed, dragon spirits bowed in homage. He picked his way through the valley and at last climbed to the highest point, from where he could almost take in the whole of Dragon Valley. A powerful dragon resonance erupted through the veil. The golden dragon spear inside Chu Chen surged with light and shot a beam skyward, humming with furious energy. On the valley floor, sharp, resilient dragon bones began to rise, few in number, but each one a remnant of the most powerful dragons buried here. As those bones flew into the air, Chu Chen understood at once and withdrew the blue-silver emperor's ultimate life force. With a thunderous roar, the destruction ancient dragon unleashed black-purple destructive thunder and struck the golden spear head-on. The dragon bones did not simply burn. They were transformed into pure power that fused into the spear. Chu Chen realized the fallen dragon clan had intentionally offered their finest bones to help his spear evolve. Gratitude swelled in him. This was an astonishing opportunity. He fully unleashed the blue-silver emperor's life force within himself and let the will of destruction wrap the spear. Its brilliant gold gradually shifted to a black-purple energy aura threaded with gold. A wisp of dragon spirit condensed before him, an intelligent, self-aware presence, and met his gaze. "Senior, do you still retain your self-awareness?" Chu Chen asked. The dragon spirit nodded. Crystalline light coalesced within it and formed a spirit bone that made the space ripple as it manifested, the torso spirit bone of the mountain dragon king. Chu Chen felt the overwhelming dragon might contained in it and no longer doubted whose essence it bore. Before he could say more, the mountain dragon king's spirit gathered thousands of smaller dragon spirits, carrying the plane's will. Amid a brilliant seven-colored light, they merged into a nine-colored gemstone, the nine-colored divine gem. The instant it formed, a tremendous wave of spiritual power swept out like a storm, shaking Chu Chen's soul. This was a divine artifact, born of thousands of dragon spirits. The mountain dragon king's spirit gave a low, relieved roar, an emotion of yielding before the destruction ancient dragon, and of passing the chance to an approaching king of the dragon clan. Chu Chen bowed deeply in thanks. Then, without hesitation, he let the destruction ancient dragon's will of destruction pour through him, tempering the golden spear like endless thunder. When it was done, the spear's pure gold dulled and took on a regal black gold sheen. Black gold dragon patterns wrapped its shaft. Its edge was sheathed in restrained sharpness capable of tearing the void. The newly reforged spear erupted into the sky in a column of light. Now infused with the wills of thousands of dragon spirits, and tempered by the dragon bones and resonances of multiple great dragon kings, the spear had ascended to the rank of a super-divine artifact. Chu Chen felt the cost. More than half of his blue-silver emperor life force had been consumed, but he didn't regret it. He leapt, reached into the air, and drew the spear into himself. The surging will of destruction made him smile. "From now on, I shall call you the Destruction Dragon Spear," he said. With the Destruction Dragon Spear in his possession, a true super-divine artifact, Chu Chen had a trump card that could threaten opponents far stronger than he. The valley fell silent. As the dragon spirits had merged into the spear and the nine-colored divine gem, the Dragon Valley itself seemed to have become lonelier and more desolate. "If I absorb this mountain dragon king torso bone, my life force should increase further," Chu Chen thought. "And the divine gem will significantly enhance my spiritual power. Once I finish absorbing these two divine relics, it will be time to leave this plane." Lake of Life. "Master, 3 years already. Why has there been no sign from him in the Dragon Valley plain?" DTN asked, worry creasing his features. A silver light shot upward and took shape as the phantom of the Silver Dragon King. "No need to fret. My spirit senses tell me his aura is stable. There's no danger. He's likely digesting the opportunities he found," the Silver Dragon King said. DTN exhaled. "Good. Master, how is your injury recovery?" "Although only 3 years have passed, my recovery has been far swifter than before. I can now leave the Lake of Life," the Silver Dragon King replied calmly. She glanced around and noticed Ye Lingling, who had been near Emerald Swan, was gone. Emerald Swan explained, "Master, Lingling returned to the human world not long ago. After all, She belongs to the human realm. Had she remained with us without Chu Chen here, she might not have adapted. Tian nodded in understanding. The Silver Dragon King added seriously, Tian, keep a close watch over her. Do not let the child come to harm. Chu Chen healed my injuries. He owes our Soul Beast clan a great debt. I can sense a divinity's aura upon him, the Silver Dragon King continued. If I'm not mistaken, a divinity has chosen him as a successor. Tian's expression tightened. He lowered his voice. Master, if he wears my reverse scale, it can sever his connection to the god realm. If he becomes a divinity, could he threaten our Soul Beast clan? The Silver Dragon King fell silent for a moment, then said, Do not be hasty. I need to know his intentions first. From what I can tell now, he is an ally of our clan. Tian, set aside such thoughts. Hearing the tone in her voice, Tian dared not disobey. He bowed and agreed, swallowing his doubts. Chapter 101. The Whereabouts of the Evil King of Life, Immortal and Undying. It is about time. I imagine several years have passed here. A crystalline, seven-colored light burst from Chu Chen's body. The Zero had completely fused with him, and at the same time he had fully merged with the Mountain Dragon King's torso bone. All 4 spirit bones he possessed now shone with brilliant radiance. His long-accumulated 16 finally discharged completely, stabilizing firmly at level 69 at last. He stood up and looked out over the vast land. A weight seemed to lift from his chest at that moment. Farewell, seniors. Chu Chen bowed deeply, then turned and poured his Dragon Clan bloodline power into the 17 the Silver Dragon King had given him. A familiar resonance washed over him. Meanwhile, in the Stardew Great Forest, the Silver Dragon King, recovered enough to assume human form, sat quietly by the Lake of Life, lost in thought. Before long, she detected the resonance from the two. He is finally coming out. She rose, a swirl of color in her purple eyes. Tian appeared beside her. After the Silver Dragon King pinpointed the Dragon Valley's spatial coordinates, Tian's dragon claws erupted with blinding golden light. Boom! With one strike, he tore open space, then poured vast spatial power into stabilizing the tunnel. With his previous experience, he could open the tunnel quickly and accurately. Inside the Dragon Valley plain, Chu Chen saw the space before him shatter as familiar spatial power surged out. Time to go. Chu Chen stepped into the tunnel. Protected by the 17 and blessed by the divine artifact Zero, he emerged from the spatial passage, safe and sound, beside the Lake of Life. He landed on the ground and felt a little off balance. Gravity here on the Douluo continent was slightly different from in the Dragon Valley, and the change made him dizzy for a moment. You have returned. A cool yet pleasant voice came from the side. Chu Chen turned and saw the Silver Dragon King in human form, walking toward him with graceful steps. Her long silver hair gleamed, and her purple, gem-like pupils were magnificent beyond words. You can already take human form. Chu Chen stared, surprised at how quickly her injuries had healed. Thanks to your 22 resonance, my internal wounds recovered greatly. I can now leave the Lake of Life and assume human form, the Silver Dragon King said softly, smiling as she watched him. Your strength has improved a great deal as well. She walked closer. She was tall, nearly as tall as Chu Chen, who himself was unusually tall. A fragrant breeze brushed him, and Chu Chen involuntarily inhaled, stunned. You've gained the Mountain Dragon King's recognition, haven't you? I can sense the wills of many dragon souls within you, she observed. And you also possess a divine artifact, correct? Chu Chen nodded. Yes, I obtained the legacy of some seniors while in the Dragon Valley. How long have I been in there? Tian asked. By my calculations, nearly 4 years, Tian replied. That human girl, I've already sent her back to the human world. Rest assured, she is doing well. Hearing that nearly 4 years had passed, Chu Chen was shocked. Time in the Dragon Valley had slipped by almost unnoticed, but 4 years was the total. Chu Chen breathed a sigh of relief. In that case, there are still 2 years left until the Goddess of Life's third trial. 2 years left gave him enough time to prepare. Chu Chen recounted everything that had happened in the Dragon Valley to the Silver Dragon King and Tian. Tian listened with astonishment. It's truly a pity I couldn't see that place with my own eyes, Tian said regretfully. He also felt genuine admiration for Chu Chen burying those homeless dragon bones alone. His expression toward Chu Chen carried a newfound respect. Thank you for what you did for them. That you obtained the Zero and the Mountain Dragon King's recognition proves your actions were honored by the Dragon Clan there, the Silver Dragon King added. I have the Dragon Clan bloodline. This is what I should have done, Chu Chen said with a small smile. In truth, he had benefited greatly. The Dragon Valley had offered him a tremendous opportunity and a qualitative leap in strength. By the way, Chu Chen said, have you ever heard of a spirit beast called the Life Evil King? Tian's golden eyes flashed with ferocity at the name. The Life Evil King, of course I know of it. Among all the soul beasts, few are as malicious as the Life Evil King. It strengthens itself by absorbing and devouring life, sometimes even the lives of its own kind. And it is practically everywhere. Chu Chen was taken aback by Tian's reaction and pressed, what do you mean? Tian controlled his emotions and explained, the Life Evil King's true form is a life attribute spore plant. It spreads tiny spores everywhere. As long as those spores aren't destroyed, its true form never truly dies. Its vitality is, in a word, immortal and indestructible. He paused, then continued. Once, in a spirit beast forest in the north, I encountered the Life Evil King when it had only 80,000 years of cultivation. I thought a single strike would finish it, but I saw a spore fall from the sky. After that, every trace of it disappeared. I expect its cultivation has reached the 100,000-year level by now. Tian's tone carried helplessness. Why are you looking for the Life Evil King? You haven't reached level 70 yet. My 16 has reached the peak of level 69. I'm not far from level 70. If the Life Evil King is at the 100,000-year level, Chu Chen's eyes lit up. The Life Evil King would be the perfect 7th 19 for his blue-silver emperor spirit. Such an evil spirit beast truly cannot be left alone, he declared. Let Tian help you hunt it down, the Silver Dragon King said softly. 103, Chapter 102. I'll call you Guyana. Chu Chen shook his head and politely declined. If I run into him, I want to settle it myself, so I won't trouble Senior Tian to take action. However, there's no rush for now. It will take some time to accumulate 21 before I can 20. The Silver Dragon King fell silent, thinking. Then she said, in that case, let Tian track the Life Evil King's trail for you. When you need it, I will tell you where he is. Thank you for the trouble. That night, Chu Chen lay alone beside the Lake of Life, watching the bright moon. His mood was unusually calm. Suddenly, a small golden figure dropped from the sky and landed squarely on his lower abdomen. Chu Chen felt as if he'd been struck. Fortunately, the little creature's aim was good and it didn't go any further. What are you doing, little guy? He laughed and cried at the same time as he scooped up the three-eyed golden lion with one hand and chided it fondly. You shared the power of destiny with it. At first it was wary, but now it's used to you. The Silver Dragon King walked over slowly and sat beside him. What a mischievous little thing. Chu Chen patted the three-eyed golden lion's head. He had grown quite fond of the creature, stroking its chin gently as one would a cat. The lion seemed to enjoy it, settling on his chest and purring itself to sleep. When do you plan to leave? The Silver Dragon King asked. Tomorrow, I suppose, Chu Chen replied. After I left Dragon Valley, I promised Lingling I'd go see her. Of course, I'll come back in a while to continue healing your injuries. 4 years had passed. He didn't know how Ye Lingling was doing now. It had been a long time, and he didn't intend to linger here. Everything else could be dealt with later. Thank you for your help. The Silver Dragon King meant it from the bottom of her heart. If it hadn't been for Chu Chen, she feared her injuries would have taken thousands, maybe 10,000 years to recover. Such a long time, far too long. Since we've reached an agreement, we're partners now. Chu Chen laughed, waving away the thanks. Partners, huh? The Silver Dragon King didn't quite understand human relationships, but she sensed that being called partners made her connection with Chu Chen a little closer. She smiled faintly and nodded. Yes, partners. Since we're partners, humans usually have a way of addressing one another, Chu Chen said casually. The Silver Dragon King seemed to understand what he meant and asked with interest, Are you going to give me a name? Uh-huh, I'll call you Silver Dragon King. How about that? Chu Chen looked up at the ancient, beautiful moon. Silver Dragon King? The Silver Dragon King frowned briefly, then relaxed. She seemed to like the name. The two of them exchanged a knowing smile. The next day, Chu Chen felt no need to remain in Dragon Valley any longer. He wanted to return to Heaven Do Empire and see for himself. 4 years could have brought earth-shaking changes. Tang San and his friend's growth, and whatever plans Qian Renshui was about to put into motion, this return was bound to be eventful. I'll have Di Tian send you back. He can also search for the Life Evil King's whereabouts for you, the Silver Dragon King said as she walked over. Chu Chen nodded. See you next time, Gu Yue. He smiled, said his farewells, and left the Lake of Life with Di Tian until they were only specks against the sky. The Silver Dragon King murmured his name to herself. Gu Yue. It sounds very nice. I think the Life Evil King is still in that northern forest. After you leave, I'll go look for him for you. With Di Tian's speed, Chu Chen was soon above Heaven Do City. Then I'll trouble you, he said, and after parting ways with Di Tian, he descended into the city. Walking through the familiar streets, Chu Chen felt a little dazed. He'd stayed in Dragon Valley too long, and the bustle of Heaven Do City made him feel like he'd suddenly rejoined the present. He arrived at the Ye residence first. Ye Lingling's mother, Mother Ye, was delighted to see him. Auntie, is Lingling not here? Chu Chen asked. She went back to the academy this morning, Mother Ye replied. Although she technically graduated, she went back with Yaner and the others. After chatting a bit, Chu Chen took his leave and used his spirit bone ability to fly toward the Heaven Do Royal Academy. As he approached, a cold killing intent washed over him. How can there be such a piercing killing aura? Chu Chen frowned and sped up. In a flash of blue-gold light, he landed on the cultivation field he knew best. Among the crowd, he immediately spotted Ye Lingling. 4 years had made her even more beautiful, and in that sea of people, her figure stood out at once. But anger was on her face. In front of Ye Lingling, Du Guyan and their group stood another faction. Though years had passed and faces had changed, Chu Chen could still recognize them. Isn't that Tang San and the others still bold enough to show up at Heaven Do Royal Academy to provoke trouble? He thought. He also noticed changes in Tang San's team. Feng Xiaoqian, whom he'd met once at the Spirit Master tournament but never interacted with, was among them. Now the 4 element academies are going to merge and be integrated into Shrek Academy. That's the general plan, Tang San said in a deep voice. The cold killing intent Chu Chen had sensed radiated from him. If your Heaven Do Royal Academy can't stand up to us, then merge into our Shrek Academy, Tang San declared. This has Emperor Shui Ye's approval. Is there anything more to say? Dai Mubai shouted aggressively. You guys are just trying to take the chance to annex the Huangdo team. With your strength, you still can't shake the Heaven Do Royal Academy, backed by the Empire. If anyone's getting annexed, it should be us annexing you. Du Guyan sneered without restraint. Annex the Heaven Do Royal Academy that the Empire supports? Are you kidding? At that, Chu Chen stopped hiding. He dropped from the sky and reappeared in the crowd, as if he had been there all along. Chapter 103. Tang San's worldview collapses, suspecting you Xiaogang. It's just an excuse to pressure the Huangdo team and save face. You dare to make a fool of yourself like this. Chu Chen appeared as if from nowhere. Everyone present froze for a moment, then Tang San and the others' faces flared with hatred. Ye Lingling and her companions, after a brief daze, broke into joyous smiles. Chu Chen, you're back! Ye Lingling stepped forward and clasped his hand. I only returned from Dragon Valley yesterday and came to find you today. Chu Chen's face brightened at seeing her. Tang San's mouth twitched as he watched them standing together like a perfect couple, hatred burning in his chest. If not for Chu Chen, he and Xiao Wu might have been like that. It was all because of Chu Chen. Chu Chen, I lost to you back then, but this time I'll kill you. Tang San's expression hardened. Killing intent surged in his eyes, a crimson light flickering. The plants around them seemed dusted with frost. Is that the Slaughter God domain? Someone murmured. It looks like in these 4 years he really went deeper into the Slaughter City path. Tang Hao didn't take him to the Moon Pavilion this time, another commented. His killing intent is a little out of control. Chu Chen smiled coolly. Tang San's strength had reached the Spirit King level, but in Chu Chen's eyes, he was still a clown. A powerful aura burst from Chu Chen, followed by a condensation of spirit power that detonated in the sky. When life energy is condensed to the extreme, it can create such a shockwave. With a thunderous boom, Tang San and the others were sent flying. Tang San gripped the clear sky hammer. Only then could he barely withstand Chu Chen's casual force. Chu Chen, today I'll wash away my humiliation. Beneath Tang San's feet, 5 black 10,000-year spirit rings bloomed at once. This was the current configuration on his clear sky hammer. As for his blue-silver grass spirit, he still used it ordinarily, but facing Chu Chen he'd learned his lesson and now relied directly on the clear sky hammer. Slaughter God domain? Blood-red light flared in Tang San's eyes as he unleashed waves of aura from the Slaughter God domain. Under that killing intent, his power climbed rapidly. He aimed to use it to suppress Chu Chen. Beside him, Dai Mubai, Feng Xiaotian, and the others also released their spirits. All of them had reached Spirit King level. Let's attack together, Dai Mubai roared, invoking White Tiger possession. 4 years ago, at the Spirit Master Tournament, Shrek Academy had been crushed, and Dai Mubai and Zhu Juqing had been ridiculed by Dai Weici and Zhu Zuyun. Because they hadn't consumed an immortal herb, they'd been outmatched and would likely have had their spirit rings revoked and been exiled to the border. That fate was what had kept them at Shrek. Now they surged forward to take down Chu Chen. Seeing several of them about to strike, Ye Lingling and Du Guyan stepped in front of Chu Chen. Chu Chen, I'll help you, Ye Lingling said, anger flashing in her eyes. She was furious at Tang San and the others for making trouble. Chu Chen chuckled and motioned for Ye Lingling to step back, choosing to face Tang San and his group alone, even as their spirit power surged toward him like a torrent. His expression stayed calm. Come at me together. Let's save time. We've just reunited. There's a dinner later. We can't waste time on a few scraps, Chu Chen said lightly. Golden light gathered in his hands and a blue-silver emperor rose. The blue-silver domain expanded and slammed into Tang San's Slaughter God domain, pushing it back. Arrogant bastard! Feng Xiaoqian howled, exploding forward with extreme speed. Chu Chen's terrifying spirit ring formation, 4 black rings and 2 red, slowly descended. Space solidified at once. Tang San and the others' movements froze midair. 2 100,000-year spirit rings, someone stammered. Everyone stared at Chu Chen's spirit rings in shock. They remembered his rings hadn't followed the usual pattern before. How could they have transformed into such terrifying rings in 4 years? This is impossible, Tang San shouted. He had long believed firmly in Xiaogang's spirit theory and its strict spirit ring age limits. His own blue-silver grass rings were 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 1 black, and only the uniqueness of his second spirit allowed him 5 10,000-year rings. He had thought it impossible for an ordinary person to have such a setup. Now Chu Chen's spirit ring configuration threatened to overturn everything Tang San knew. Could Xiaogang have been misleading him? Was the theory breakable? Tang San's suspicious nature made Chu Chen's astonishing talent seed doubt about Xiaogang. Second spirit ability, life deprivation. Chu Chen condensed life energy with one hand, casting an invisible life magnetic field over the area. They couldn't all sense it, but their vitality was already quietly being leached away. Fourth spirit ability, clear sky storm. Tang San swung the clear sky hammer with blinding speed and a scorching gale filled the area. In the center of the storm, he pressed forward toward Chu Chen. Dull impacts struck Chu Chen constantly. Tang San's spirit power had reached level 56, and with the clear sky hammer bearing 5 10,000-year spirit rings, his strength was enough to rival a spirit emperor. One hammer blow landed, black light flaring. At that moment, a blue-silver emperor burst from the ground. It looked soft, but as soon as it appeared, it slammed directly into the clear sky hammer. The hammer shuddered violently. Chu Chen activated the soft-boned rabbit spirit bone skill, teleportation, to slip behind them, and the blue-silver emperor then controlled everyone at once. This is Xiaowu's aura. Tang San's eyes split with rage. He felt the familiar presence. Xiaowu's spirit ring, her aura, was truly on Chu Chen. Your wife's skill is really useful, Chu Chen's voice floated to Tang San. Those words pushed Tang San over the edge. He lost control, killing intent spiraling wildly through him. Chu Chen teleported behind them and, with a sweep of his hand, sent up stalks of blue-silver emperor that braided together into a steel-hard cage, trapping everyone inside. Even a spirit saint would have to expend enormous effort to break that kind of blue-silver emperor. These people weren't spirit saints. Without the immortal herb, most of their cultivation was mediocre at best. Ningrongrong and Oscar, for example, after 4 years their spirit levels were only around 46. Even with another year, they might at best reach Spirit King. There was no way for them to suddenly become Spirit Emperors like in the original story. Daimubai had reached 53. Juju King had just passed 50. The only real exception had been Ma Hongjun. Chu Chen probed Ma Hongjun's spirit and stiffened. The man's spirit was a chaotic mess. His evil fire-grass chicken spirit was wobbling on the edge of losing control. Without the immortal herb to temper it, and with the demon pill Chu Chen himself had removed, there was nowhere for that evil fire to vent. In the long run, he's not far from becoming crippled, Chu Chen sneered as he tightened his control over the blue-silver stalks. They all strained to break the cage, but it held. Then abruptly, Ma Hongjun collapsed to the ground. Blood poured from his 7 orifices, his spirit had gone mad, and his body had already lost consciousness. The difference between his spirit level, about 43, and Chu Chen's aura was simply too great. The instant Chu Chen's life deprivation magnetic field brushed them, Ma Hongjun's spirit flooded with uncontrolled evil flame. Years of pressure that had never found release finally detonated. Ma Hongjun's life flickered and then was gone. As the evil fire erupted, his body ruptured. There was no intact corpse left. Silence hung for a breath. Someone started. Then all eyes swung to Chu Chen. In their view, Ma Hongjun had died because of him. It wasn't wholly untrue, but Chu Chen knew the truth. The man couldn't withstand a single strand of his aura and had exploded. Chu Chen, you'll pay with your life! Tang San's voice cut through the stunned quiet. The clear sky hammer in Tang San's hand swelled, taking on a hurricane of black light as he drove it down. With Tang San's strike, Dai Mubai, Feng Xiaotian, and Juju King broke free from the blue-silver bonds. Dai and Ju unleashed the hell-white tiger, its aura flaring. Feng Xiaotian began charging his Storm Devil Wolf 36 consecutive slashes. Ningrongrong sent timely buffs from the rear. With those buffs, Tang San's strength had reached Spirit Emperor. The Martial Soul Fusion Hell-White Tiger was even approaching Spirit Saint level. Chu Chen raised a hand and sent a strand of invisible life energy precisely toward each of them. Dragon of Life, Right Arm Bone Skill, Myriad Spirit Surge. At his command, life rippled chaotically within a 10-kilometer radius. The Dragon of Life Bone Skill could instantly mobilize ambient life energy and pour it into surrounding vegetation. Fallen leaves greened and sprouted, withered branches budded, fragile plants thickened into razor edges, weak animals swelled into furious beasts. The roar that rose was not a single creature's but the roar of all awakened nature. Plants and animals, animated and hungry, zeroed in on Tang San and the others. They surged forward, carrying fresh life energy with every strike, binding vines becoming whips, reborn leaves slicing like blades, stampeding fauna charging with crushing force. The impact threw Ningrongrong and Oscar through the air. Feng Xiaoqian's charged storm attack was interrupted and overwhelmed. The Hell-White Tiger clung on a moment longer, but the life deprivation magnetic field quickly leached it of power until it withered and dissolved. Dai Mubai and Juju King coughed blood, only Tang San still staggered to his feet. Chu Chen watched him and said with an almost gentle satisfaction, "We were roommates. Seeing you suffer actually makes me very happy." He fired another condensed life shock blast. Tang San spat blood, barely holding the clear sky hammer. Cold light crackled from his hands. Hidden weapons streamed in from all directions, swish, 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 falling like a storm of steel. Chu Chen simply used a thread of his aura to intercept and neutralize them all, while Tang San unleashed his signature Yama invitation to try to finish him. "Watch closely. This is still your wife's spirit ability," Chu Chen taunted as he blurred out of reach. The Yama invitation struck nothing. Tang San lost control, raging like a trapped beast. Chu Chen kept teleporting, cutting him deeper with words. "Until the moment she died, she believed you would come to save her. Why didn't you save her? It's sad she trusted you so much. She said she would rather sacrifice herself to me than let me harm you. Such a pity. Every taunt drove into Tang San's chest. Then Chu Chen used Xiao Wu's fifth spirit ability, Mental Shock. Tang San's emotions, already shredded and full of killing intent, shattered under the blow. He coughed blood and was slammed backward like a rag, crashing heavily to the ground. Chu Chen single-handedly controlled the battlefield. Heh, brother Chu Chen, in the past few years, your strength has truly changed, a gentle voice said from the side. 4 years later, Shui Qinghe still wore that modest expression and faint smile as he walked forward, flanked by Prince Xuexing and the others. He met Chu Chen's eyes and returned the smile. Prince Xuexing watched Tang San and the others sent flying like rag dolls. Surprise flickered across his face, then panic slid in. Xuexing, however, kept smiling as he approached Chu Chen. It's been years, brother Chu Chen. How have you been? Xuexing said gently. There was nothing of the arrogant crown prince about him. He understood how to read people. That talent had won him more and more support in the Heaven Do royal family over the years. He had firmly established his position and could afford to appear humble and close to the people without losing authority. We meet again, brother Qinghe, Chu Chen replied with a smile, and the two exchanged greetings. Du Yan hurried forward, bowing stiffly to Shui Qinghe first, then fixing her gaze on Prince Xuexing. Prince Xuexing, these men dared to talk about annexing the Heaven Do Royal Academy and pressuring our Huangdo team. I believe they did so with your permission. Her words were sharp enough to make Prince Xuexing stagger inwardly. He had indeed stirred things up behind the scenes, but he never expected Chu Chen to show up and beat Tang San and the others so decisively. Humph, young Miss Dugu, don't think because you have Senior Dugu backing you that you can slander me. Is that so? Dugubo descended from the sky, his gaze locking on Prince Xuexing. I heard someone wanted Yaner and the others to fight in underground matches to make money for him. When they refused, he held a grudge and even hired a rabble to undermine the Huangdo team. Dugubo walked slowly toward Prince Xuexing. Cold light flared in his eyes. Senior Dugu, I'll handle this. Xuexinghe's expression remained mild, but there was a fierce glint in his pupils. His authority in the imperial family was built on more than simple humility. Your Highness the Crown Prince. Prince Xuexing tried to protest, but Xuexinghe cut him off. No need to argue. The evidence is conclusive. This matter will be dealt with. He gestured, and several imperial guards took away the struggling prince. Meanwhile, Tang San and the others had already fled. Staying would only implicate them. As for those hired thugs, hunt them down, Xuexinghe ordered. With the matter settled, Dugubo laughed and embraced Chu Chen. Damn it, brat, you finally decided to come back. After some friendly reminiscing, Xuexinghe invited everyone to a grand reception hosted by the royal family, a combination of apology to the Huangdo team and a welcome for Chu Chen's return. After the banquet, Chu Chen returned to the Heaven Do Royal Academy with Ye Lingling. They had not seen each other for 4 years and seemed to have endless things to catch up on. Ye Lingling even showed him her 5th spirit ring. This was given to me by Senior Emerald Swan, a spirit ring produced by a 15,000-year-old emerald swan, she explained. Chu Chen blinked. So you mean Senior Emerald Swan had one of her kin produce a ring for you? Ye Lingling laughed and explained further. Senior Emerald Swan said that Emerald Swan had some kind of ailment. Even with all her abilities, she couldn't be saved. To give her a proper release, Senior Emerald Swan helped me choose this ring. Chu Chen breathed easier. He'd almost misread the situation. He had feared Ye Lingling had suddenly become ruthless enough to slay an Emerald Swan in front of others. Next time, I'll go find Di Tian and have him introduce me to a Dragon Clan spirit beast, he muttered. Ye Lingling laughed. The mood was pleasant. Late that night, Chu Chen left the academy and walked to the place where he and Qian Renshui had once discussed the Tao. Both of them, when they met, would understand what the other intended. He believed she would come, and a moment later, a golden figure arrived beneath the moonlight, a sword in her hand. A smile touched her lips as her voice reached him. 4 years have passed, and you've already become a spirit emperor, and you even have 200,000-year spirit rings. How about we discuss the Tao again? There was fierce battle intent in Qian Renshui's beautiful eyes. Chu Chen laughed and accepted without hesitation. The blue-silver emperor surged outward, its radiance blooming around him. Golden light illuminated the night sky. Qian Renshui, stunned at the vast life energy, still praised him. What terrifying life force! You are no longer what you used to be. Let us have a proper fight. She held her sword aloft, sacred flames licking its blade. A pair of flawless, radiant angel wings unfurled behind her as she unleashed a powerful spirit technique. From its form, it looked like a rank 76 spirit skill, and 7 of her arranged spirit marks flared with perfect alignment. "Angel sword," she cried. An angelic shadow appeared behind her as she swung the golden holy sword down, the blade scattering light. Chu Chen lifted his hand. The blue-silver emperor's power erupted. Clusters of living silver emperor energy burst through the ground and wove themselves into a great net in the air, shimmering with pulsating life and the force of nature. The strike landed with a thunderous impact that sent a storm of energy outward. Chu Chen no longer relied on defense alone. He coated his body with life streamer, the blue-silver emperor's life force forming a layer of starlight around him. First spirit ability, life streamer, teleportation, he announced, appearing instantly before Qian Renshui. His fist whined screamed as he launched a barrage of blows, wide, sweeping, relentless. Fist lights flashed, overbearing and potent. The blue-silver emperor continuously infused him with life energy, and the energy in his hands shifted and condensed into a spear, its form reminiscent of the destruction dragon spear. Qian Renshui reacted instantly. "Angel shield," she called, condensing golden light into a shield. She met Chu Chen's blows head-on and thrust her sword forward. Sword and spear collided, golden sparks flying. Chu Chen activated his 4th spirit ability. The blue-silver emperor in his hands darkened, turning ink black and taking on a tenacious, unyielding form. 4th spirit ability, life enhancement, he roared. His assault grew ferocious. Holding the spear, he traded blow for blow with Qian Renshui, matching her for a time, and even managing to suppress her. Under the night sky, the energies erupting from Chu Chen and Qian Renshui crashed against each other without pause. In terms of raw spirit power alone, Chu Chen was no weaker than Qian Renshui. His spirit power had already reached level 69. He was not far from level 70. Relying on the advantages granted by his blue-silver emperor and the infusion of boundless life energy, his spirit power matched hers. Boom! As Chu Chen withdrew from the strike, he clasped his hands and drew in every scrap of life energy from the surroundings. His domain bloomed. Sensing it, Qian Renshui refused to be outdone and enveloped the area in her own invisible field, radiating intense golden light. Angelic domain, blue-silver domain. They spoke at the same moment. The two domains met in the air as pure energy, clashing and refusing to merge. It was an ultimate collision between the attributes of overwhelming life and holy light. Chu Chen and Qian Renshui hovered in midair, smiles flickering in their eyes as their spirit auras and spirit power flared. Each domain manifested the characteristics of its spirit. Angelic feathers drifted down, swaying on the breeze. When they touched the blue-silver domain, they ignited into blazing holy flames. Golden fire spread, and the heat of it raised the temperature of the world. Compared to the commanding brilliance of the angelic domain, the blue-silver domain seemed calmer, yet in that silence lay a crushing force. Under the mutual interference of both domains, neither fighter's power was dampened. Boom! The blue-silver emperor, resilient and resolute, tore across the night like streaks of dark light, cutting a stark contrast against the golden angelic assault. Chu Chen released a torrent formed by the blue-silver emperor. That torrent carried all the life energy within a radius of several thousand meters, a deluge like the flood of a vast ocean. Qian Renshui's angelic domain trembled violently under the strike, but her holy power recovered swiftly. "Your blue-silver domain has actually been cultivated to this realm," she murmured. Chu Chen's blue-silver domain not only neutralized the amplification of her angelic domain, it also drew on the life energy of the surrounding environment for his use, enough to make him nearly invincible. "Your angelic domain is not bad either," Chu Chen replied, smiling. As a divine-rank spirit, the Seraphim's innate domain was naturally formidable. If not for the blue-silver emperor having undergone several evolutions and gaining evolution skills that could perceive and draw on nature's power, Suppressing the angelic domain so effectively would have been difficult. Angelic domain innate skill, angelic holy flame. Qian Renshui decided it was time to stop holding back. She knew Chu Chen might not yet be a true spirit saint, but his combat capability rivaled one. With a soft shout, she released golden holy flames from within the seraphim spirit. Amplified by the angelic domain, they became scorching, as if able to burn all corruption from the world. Blue-silver domain evolution skill, nature and heaven. Chu Chen's mind moved. The blue-silver emperor wove itself outward, drawing on nature and forming a complex blue-silver array. The power concentrated between them intensified. When the golden holy flame struck the blue-silver emperor, shimmering in a clash of blue and gold, the night sky lit up, the light blinding. Chu Chen ramped up his spirit power and, under the undying vitality of the blue-silver emperor, channeled the Great Desolation Scripture. Great Desolation Scripture. A wave of desolation swept outward. Qian Renshui watched helplessly as surrounding plants withered instantly, all their life force seemingly drained away. Alarm flashed across her face. He actually absorbed the life energy of all the nearby plants. Was this an ability of his spirit? Shock filled Qian Renshui's eyes. She would not be careless. She gripped the angel's sword tightly. At her feet, the seventh sigil bloomed, and an ultimate power erupted. Boom! As the golden light spread, Chu Chen unleashed the accumulated life energy. The earth-shattering attack smashed straight through the angelic domain. The domain shattered, and Qian Renshui was wounded and sent flying. She immediately conjured her avatar of the martial soul, a massive angel bearing compassion for all living things descended from the sky. Chu Chen stared up at the seraphim avatar. Chu Chen, your strength has long surpassed the Spirit Emperor level. Do not blame me for this strike. Qian Renshui said with a chuckle. After she summoned the avatar of the martial soul, her own strength surged several times over. A gigantic sword, hundreds of meters long, appeared and descended from the heavens. The avatar gripped it with both hands and brought it down in a single overwhelming blow. Its majestic aura swept all before it. Mountains burst and the earth fractured. Chu Chen faced the avatar without flinching. Sixth spirit ability, life sacrifice. He ignited all of his own life energy, shaping it into a burning life core in his chest. His power swelled wildly and prospered. Having cast life sacrifice, he transformed the life energy and spirit power he controlled into a continuously burning life core. While the core existed, his strength would be fully enhanced, and he would gain a terrifying, undying effect. Boom! He released his power to the fullest. The blue-silver emperor soared, and the life energy congealed into tangible light, hurtling forward. The collision of forces tore the earth apart. When the power finally dissipated, Chu Chen waved his hand to release the stored life energy. The surrounding plants recovered their vitality. His face was somewhat pale. This was the weakness period after using life sacrifice, but the blue-silver emperor continued to restore him. Impressive, Qian Renshui said, appearing before him, her beautiful eyes filled with astonishment. Her avatar's strike had been blocked. If Chu Chen possessed a seventh sigil, she acknowledged, he might already be beyond her. As expected of the seraphim spirit, Chu Chen smiled. 4 years ago, you were trapped in a siege. After you left, I knew that when you appeared again, you would shock the world, he continued. Qian Renshui looked at him softly. From what I see now, I guessed correctly. But I don't think it's enough, Chu Chen said calmly, smiling. In the past, I had no background and had to hide my strength, always cautious. Now that I have this power, I want the world to witness it. From today on, I will no longer hide. Chapter 107. Qian Renshui confesses her love. Chen Xin attacks Chu Chen. It's been 4 years. You seem different. Hearing Chu Chen say that, Qian Renshui felt the same. He seemed unlike the boy she'd known. His eyes carried a weariness beyond his years, as if he'd seen lifetimes. Chu Chen only smiled faintly and said nothing more. Over the past 4 years, he had wandered almost alone through the boundless ruins of Dragon Valley, a wasteland strewn with bones. The sight had struck a deep chord in him. As he went deeper, visions of the Dragon Clan's former glory and their wilted downfall flashed through his mind, weaving together into a haunting tableau. Those 4 years had left a mark. His gaze held the weight of that loneliness. Tell me about yourself, Chu Chen said, changing the subject. Living undercover can't have been easy. Qian Renshui smiled, but it was a bitter smile. Sometimes I wonder if I'm really Shui Qinghe or if I'm Qian Renshui. I feel like I owe an explanation for these almost 20 years I've spent undercover. She turned her head, her eyes soft. You know my plan, so will you stop me? If I wanted to stop you, I'd have exposed you already. That would have ruined your plan. Chu Chen lay down on the grass nearby. He did not condemn her. This was Spirit Hall's infiltration against the two great empires. He didn't care which side prevailed. Whether Qian Renshui seized power in the Heaven Do Empire or failed and returned, it didn't affect him greatly. Then what if I asked for your help, she continued. Would you stand by my side? Under the moonlight, a tentative hope trembled at the corner of Qian Renshui's smile. The question felt like a confession. Why can't it be you standing by my side? Chu Chen asked in return, Is there a difference? Qian Renshui seemed to understand. Her smile grew warmer, but she did not linger. Time moved on, and her plan to slowly poison Emperor Shuye had already begun. These days were the busiest. There could be no mistakes. Chu Chen, I have to go. See you next time. She rose, then paused after taking a few steps. By the way, Dugubo has noticed something odd recently. He may have found some leverage on me. That worries me. Chu Chen was surprised. He had suspected Dugubo had noticed something, but Dugubo was still on Chu Chen's side, and perhaps he hadn't yet become deeply involved in imperial family affairs. Qian Renshui's words left him thoughtful. For the past 4 years, Blue Silver City has been fine. It still belongs to the Heaven Do Empire. Thank you, Chu Chen said. He felt a twinge of neglect. Now that his strength had grown and he could protect himself, he should visit Blue Silver City when he could. Back at Heaven Do Royal Academy, Chu Chen met Dugubo. The man wore a mysterious expression and pulled Chu Chen aside to speak quietly. Chu Chen, I think there's something off about Shui Qinghe. Sure enough, Dugubo had uncovered oddities about Shui Qinghe. Tell me, Chu Chen said. Dugubo laid out what he'd gathered, small, scattered clues. Individually, they meant little, but together they pointed in a troubling direction. His suspicions weren't baseless, though he couldn't draw a firm conclusion yet. Old Poison, when did you start caring about the imperial family's affairs? Chu Chen teased. It's not that I want to meddle, Dugubo waved a hand. I stay in the Heaven Do Empire. Occasionally I pick up things. I'm telling you because your relationship with him is unusual. If this person is dangerous, you need to be careful. A man with such deep schemes, you never know when he might harm you. Hearing Dugubo's concern, Chu Chen laughed and signaled him not to worry. Dugubo's expression softened. He knew Chu Chen had Detian behind him and felt comfortable letting him act alone. Heh, brat, you probably don't need this old man's protection anymore, Dugubo said with a crooked smile. Besides, you still have that terrifying senior backing you up. 4 years had passed, and Chu Chen's strength had climbed. He was now powerful enough to be called a force in his own right, close to the next great step. On the way to Dihun village, as Chu Chen passed a dense forest, an incredibly sharp aura suddenly descended from the sky. Pure sword intent. Shh! The sword light flashed, stirring wind and clouds, even making the surrounding space tremble. Chu Chen's expression hardened. He activated his spirit bone ability, teleportation, and the blue-gold life energy around him detonated into the air. When that life energy collided with the sword light, it triggered a massive explosion. The attacker wore a black robe, identity concealed, but the domineering sword intent gave him away. Dugubo and Chu Chen both knew who could wield such force. The only one who could have such sword intent, Dugubo murmured. Chu Chen fixed his gaze on the black-robed figure hovering in the air, sword intent whirling like a tempest. Hiding your face and covering up, this isn't the style of a true sword Douluo, he sneered. He had recognized the man and understood why he hid his identity. This was likely a personal vendetta, not a representation of the sects or forces behind him. Chu Chen wasn't interested in that. He focused on the man before him. It was you who hurt the little princess of my 7-treasure glazed tile school, Chen Xin declared as he flung off his black robe. He remembered Ning Rongrong being gravely injured and his anger flared. Now that his identity was revealed, the killing intent in his eyes intensified. The 7-kill sword whipped up a violent gale, sword light blinding and merciless. Even if someone stands behind him, I must take the risk to kill him, Chen Xin thought, and the sword intent surged toward Chu Chen. Chapter 108. Using every means at his disposal, a bloody battle against Chen Xin. Chen Xin was, after all, wary of Ditian, who had once fought the entire Supreme Pontiff Palace alone. But since Ditian had already appeared, even if it meant taking a risk, Chen Xin had to kill Chu Chen. Chu Chen and Ning Rongrong now stood on opposite sides. If Chu Chen were allowed to grow unchecked, one day he might turn against the 7-treasure glazed tile school. 4 years, and we have not met, Chen Xin said. You've already become a spirit emperor. Such speed is terrifying. Chen Xin had to admit it. Chu Chen's talent for cultivation was frightening. Sensing his current 24, Chen Xin suspected Chu Chen was only a step away from becoming a spirit saint. Boom! Chen Xin's aura erupted fully. A terrifying pressure descended from the sky. Streaks of sword light whistled down, and sonic booms constantly detonated, instantly locking onto Chu Chen. You certainly know how to speak well, Chu Chen replied coolly. A cold, icy light flashed in Chu Chen's eyes. This was his first time facing a titled Douluo alone, and it was Chen Xin who possessed a 24 as high as level 96 and wielded the 7-kill sword, the #1 offensive spirit on the continent. Among all the titled Douluo on Douluo continent, Chen Xin's strength ranked among the very best. First spirit ability, Life Streamer, Chu Chen cried. Fourth spirit ability, Life Enhancement, he added. The blue-silver emperor burst from the ground, its ink-colored radiance intertwined into a protective barrier. Boom! Chen Xin's extreme sword intent cut through the blue-silver emperor and closed in on Chu Chen. The blue-silver emperor's toughness was terrifying, but facing Chen Xin's overwhelming attack power, it was hard to fully withstand it. Sensing sword intent that could tear him apart, Chu Chen activated teleportation, appearing 100 meters away. Facing Chen Xin, Chu Chen no longer held back. He unleashed his life deprivation magnetic field and the life Hunyuan matrix at the same time. The blue-silver domain and the Great Desolation Scripture instantly spread over the area. Great Desolation Scripture. All the plants within a 10,000-meter radius withered rapidly. Under the amplification of the blue-silver domain, all the life energy in them poured into Chu Chen's body. He briefly carried an immense reserve of life force, and his aura instantly surpassed the Spirit Emperor 32, even comparable to a spirit saint. That terrifying presence dominated the battlefield. Chu Chen condensed the blue-silver emperor into a long spear and slammed it against Chen Xin's 7-kill sword. Clang! The impact sent Chu Chen flying, but Chen Xin was also pushed back for a moment. Surprise flickered across his face before his sword intent flared fiercely, forming a barrier around his body. An innate 31, a cultivation technique that absorbs life force. Chen Xin observed, shocked by Chu Chen's current strength. His 7-kill sword bloomed with renewed sharpness. A streak of sword light tore through sky and earth, blasting toward Chu Chen. Chu Chen did not dare be careless. While using teleportation to create distance, he hardened the blue-silver emperor and unleashed a black beam of life force with extreme piercing power. The beam was torn apart, and Chu Chen was struck by a streak of sword intent. The 7-kill sword was deflected. Seeing Chu Chen with only a bloodstain on his face, Chen Xin's expression turned solemn. With his strength, he still could not easily kill a spirit emperor? Sixth spirit ability, 10,000 swords returned to the sect. Chen Xin leaped into the air. The 7-kill sword seemed intent on tearing the heavens and earth apart. Countless sword shadows diffused behind him, filling the sky. Every wisp of sword intent brimmed with slaughter. Although your talent is exceptional, Chen Xin said, after all, you have not truly matured. Facing Chen Xin's lethal assault, Chu Chen wiped the blood from his cheek. Even under such keen sword intent, his body glowed. Mountain Dragon King Torso Spirit Bone ability, Gravity Control, Chu Chen roared. The Mountain Dragon King was a dragon king that controlled earth and gravity. The first ability this torso bone bestowed on Chu Chen granted him extreme elemental control, gravity control. The earth cracked and terrifying ravines formed as Chu Chen gained command over the gravity of the surrounding land. Rumble! He raised his hand and twisted the gravity of the space around him. What had been soft ground became as hard as steel. The broken earth rose and reshaped into a small mountain, The 10,000 swords returned to the sect, streamed in, only to be grabbed by Chu Chen's warped gravity. The attack struck Chu Chen's defense, and dust filled the sky. Taking advantage of the momentary cover, Chu Chen's killing intent surged. "Want to kill me? Why don't you just go die yourself?" In an instant, Chu Chen's pupils became pure gold, and a terrifying draconic might erupted from him, an indescribable seven-colored 17 impact rippling outward. 3. Chu Chen whispered, sacrificing the divine artifact he currently possessed. 3. Brilliant seven-colored light rippled like water patterns across space, directly eroding 24 and assaulting Chen Xin's sea of teen. Chen Xin was distracted for a moment. The 10,000 swords returned to the sect was completely halted. Seizing the opening, Chu Chen teleported in front of Chen Xin. Under the dual amplification of the blue-silver domain in the Great Desolation scripture, the boundless life force instantly shifted into the will of destruction, the power to annihilate all things. Boom! The will of destruction surged out as black-purple lightning. Chen Xin's expression changed, then hardened into ruthless determination. He gripped the seven-kill sword and slashed forward. Even if he couldn't dodge Chu Chen's strike, Chen Xin figured his blade would pierce Chu Chen through and kill him. 5th spirit ability, Void. Chu Chen activated his 5th 26 ability, his figure turning into Void. The 7-kill sword pierced through his chest, yet there was no sensation of flesh being torn. The attack missed. Die! Chu Chen roared and punched. A low rumble exploded as the will of destruction corroded Chen Xin's body. Chen Xin's chest caved, and he spat blood, collapsing to the ground. Chu Chen's chest heaved violently. His body was covered in wounds, but they healed rapidly under immortal life force. The blue-silver emperor swirled around him, continuously supplying energy. 7th spirit ability, 7-kill avatar. Chen Xin bellowed, fury and sword intent erupting anew. The stronger Chu Chen became, the more Chen Xin's urge to kill grew. To prevent any powerful expert from taking revenge, he resolved to eliminate Chu Chen completely, leaving no trace behind. Chapter 109. The Destruction Dragon Spear displays its power. Chen Xin is severely wounded and flees. Seeing that Chen Xin had already unleashed his 7-kill avatar, Chu Chen did not dare be careless. A titled Douluo's Tool Spirit avatar held earth-shattering power. Light bloomed across his body as his old wounds rapidly healed. "Wildfire cannot consume it all. The spring breeze brings life again," he intoned. With his Tool Spirit avatar having evolved to divine rank, this recovery skill had become terrifyingly effective. Even on the brink of death, he could regenerate in moments. 7-kill avatar. Chen Xin merged with the gargantuan 7-kill sword. His aura alone crushed the nearby trees. Distant rocks crumbled. The killing intent he condensed twisted the sword light into a single, massive character, kill, falling from the sky. This was the ultimate finishing move he had forged with his overwhelming strength. One stroke of that kill would likely force any titled Douluo to retreat. Chu Chen, Chen Xin judged, was already finished. Chen Xin's face was indifferent. He had originally acted under the guise of helping Ning Rongrong, but now that his identity was exposed, he might as well finish the job and thoroughly slay Chu Chen. A feud with a genius like Chu Chen could someday spell disaster for the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, something Chen Xin could not allow. The kill character cleaved through space and descended at incredible speed. From Chen Xin's vantage, Chu Chen made no attempt to dodge. There seemed no way he could survive such an attack. Chen Xin allowed himself a small, bitter relief. Then the heavens trembled. A dragon's roar, deep and shattering, exploded out, and a dark purple light, heavy with destruction, rained down. Chu Chen gripped the destruction dragon spear and invoked the will of destruction. The will condensed into a crackling black lightning that wrapped the spear. Chen Xin's face went pale. He could not accept that Chu Chen had actually blocked the kill character while in his avatar of martial soul state. How could a current spirit emperor be so defiant? "Chen Xin," Chu Chen said quietly, "today you will pay the price." He unleashed a roar of destiny that carried true power of destiny, drawn from the three-eyed golden lion. Using the destruction dragon spear as a conduit, he struck with a mental assault so potent it ignored ordinary defenses. The dragon roar of destiny cut straight into Chen Xin's mind, invading his consciousness like an explosion. Chen Xin staggered, pain exploding behind his eyes. He tried to retreat, but Chu Chen would not give him the chance. Vines of blue silver, coiling like the blue silver emperor's tendrils, bound him in place. Chu Chen leapt, his aura surging as he burned the last of his reserves. "Life sacrifice," he cried, invoking the brutal, consumptive technique. He poured vast life force into the strike. His chest glowed with the Mountain Dragon King Torso Bone's power. Mountain Dragon King Torso Bone, gravity control. The gravity in front of Chu Chen multiplied dozens of times. Rubble was crushed into powder, the ground collapsed, and in the warped gravity, the Destruction Dragon Spear's weight became obscene. A true super-divine artifact, the spear itself carried the power of 1,000 dragons. Under gravity control, and fed by Chu Chen's sacrificial energy, the spear's force multiplied into something apocalyptic. Chen Xin finally snapped back to himself. His scalp tingled, his soul swayed, and his 7-kill sword trembled in his hand. Whatever the origin of that black and gold spear, it was utterly unlike anything he had faced before. He had no time to dodge. Restrained by the intensified gravity, he chose to meet the blow head-on. 9th Spirit Ability, Divine Demon Dual Slashes. Gods and demons whirled around the 7-kill sword as Chen Xin hurled his most powerful counterattack. But Chu Chen's strike came too fast and too heavy. Before Chen Xin's 9th Spirit Ability could fully condense, the Destruction Dragon Spear fell like a meteor. A beam of bloody light sliced into the air. The spear punched through the arm Chen Xin used to hold his sword, skewering it to his side. His right arm was gone in an instant. The will of destruction surged into his body. Pain like molten steel tore through him. Even if he could somehow resist the will, the agony was unbearable. Chen Xin's eyes went blood red. In a blind, furious reflex, he released the remainder of his 9th Spirit Ability, slashing toward Chu Chen. Chu Chen's body was wrapped in a layer of golden light. "Soft bones, rabbit, spirit bone skill, paragon golden body," he answered, accepting the counterattack. The impact slammed into him. He spat a mouthful of blood, and his face went pale. The life sacrifice's duration had nearly ended. He had poured out almost all his life energy, and his body was badly battered. He raised his hand, and the Destruction Dragon Spear flew back into it. As the will of destruction began to condense again, Chen Xin's body convulsed and his spirit power ran wild. He was grievously wounded. Had that spear struck his chest, he would almost certainly be dead. There was no time for thought. He turned and fled. Chu Chen watched the broken form retreat, using the last of his life energy to seal his wounds and then to fly away. It wasn't that he didn't want to finish Chen Xin. Fighting an opponent of that strength and even severing one of his arms had drained him of nearly all his spirit power. He could do no more. Chen Xin fled through the ruined forest, one arm gone, breath ragged and blood hot on his face. As he ran, a hateful promise escaped his lips. 7 treasure-glazed tile school. I'll come back and destroy you all next time. Half a day later, not far from Dihun village, Chu Chen slowly opened his eyes. His eat had gradually recovered, and with the Blue-Silver Emperor, an existence of ultimate vitality, his wounds had healed quickly in the short time since. He stared into the distance, voice cold. What a pity. I didn't manage to kill him. Chu Chen's gaze was hard. To unleash the Destruction Dragon Spear's full force, he'd exhausted almost everything. Had he risked his life, he might have killed Chen Xin, but at a terrible cost. Letting Chen Xin go did not mean the matter ended there. When he returned, Chu Chen intended to settle accounts with the 7 treasure-glazed tile school. When Chen Xin staggered back to the 7 treasure-glazed tile school, blood everywhere and his arm a ruin, Ning Fengji and Gu Rong were shocked and rushed to support him. Uncle Sword, what happened? Who wounded you like this? Ning Fengji's face had gone pale. Rage and helplessness surged in him. On this continent, only the Spirit Hall had the strength to wound Chen Xin like that. Did the Spirit Hall do this? How dare they wound you? I'll make them pay. Gu Rong watched his close friend in such a state and could no longer hide his murderous intent. He wanted to go settle it immediately. Old Bone, calm down. Ning Fengji snapped. If it really had been the Spirit Hall, charging off alone would only end in death. He hurriedly used the 7 treasure-glazed tile pagoda to amplify Chen Xin's recovery and summoned the best physicians. When Chen Xin regained consciousness, he was filled with regret. Fengji, old bone, the school is likely facing a catastrophe. Ning Fengji and Gurong exchanged worried looks. Chen Xin's voice trembled as he told them what had happened, how he had tried to kill Chu Chen and had failed. At the news, Ning Fengji went pale and staggered back. How is this possible? He's only a spirit emperor, and he severed your arm? That can't be. But Ning Fengji knew the real danger lay behind Chu Chen, Di Tian. He still remembered, with a chill, the image of Di Tian standing against the entire Supreme Pontiff Palace 4 years ago. If Di Tian learned Chu Chen had been injured, the 7 treasure-glazed tile school could be annihilated. Uncle Sword, you were too impulsive. Ning Fengji sighed. Gurong, who knew Chen Xin's strength better than anyone, fell silent. If Chu Chen himself remained a threat, the school might not survive even without Di Tian's involvement. Fengji, what shall we do? Gurong asked. They had to find a way to respond before it was too late. First, go bring Rongrong back, Ning Fengji said grimly. Heaven Do Imperial family. Qian Renshui's eyes flashed with cold killing intent. That Chen Xin, he was asking for death. She turned to glare at the Snake Lance Douluo reporting to her. Why didn't you act to protect him? Snake Lance Douluo trembled. Young lord, I'm sorry. I did follow Chu Chen covertly, but I thought that the powerhouse from before would appear again to help, so I... Qian Renshui's anger was like a winter storm. Her voice was an icy blade. This happened under your watch? The 7 treasure-glazed tile school will certainly send Gurong to Shrek Academy to bring Ning Rongrong back. She fixed Snake Lance and Porcupine Fish with a hard look. You two, go to the 7 treasure-glazed tile school and capture Chen Xin for me. Cold light burned in Qian Renshui's eyes. She had hidden her killing intent well before, but now she showed it plainly. Chu Chen had been seriously injured, and for that, she would make Chen Xin pay. Back in Dihun village, Chu Chen stayed with village chief Tig for a few peaceful days. He brought the old man many medicinal herbs. After treatment, the chief's health improved steadily. Best of all, village chief Tig learned Chu Chen had become a spirit emperor. The old man laughed with pride, imagining a future when Chu Chen might become a spirit saint and joking about renaming the village Saint Soul, though he quickly waved the idea away when he realized a neighboring village already used that name. Little Chen, be careful when you're out cultivating, the chief said kindly. If you get tired, come back. Grandpa's always here. A few days later, Chu Chen sensed Di Tian's aura and left the village to meet him. Di Tian noticed the faint residue of injury. You were hurt? My wounds healed days ago, Chu Chen said with a smile. I fought someone, but I'm fine now. Di Tian nodded. I found traces of the Life Evil King. It's in the north, but it's shifted position, now in the far north forest. Its cultivation has reached the 100,000-year level. Do you really want to hunt the Life Evil King? Chu Chen asked. Without hesitation, he nodded. Not only did he need a proper 7th 21, this Life Evil King was his target for the Life God King assessment. Whatever it took, he had to face it alone. Come with me. It may move again, Di Tian said, and Chu Chen agreed. After saying goodbye to village chief Tig, the two set out for the far north. Chu Chen was determined to obtain that 7th 21. Chapter 111. Surprise attack on the 7 treasure glazed tile school, Chen Xin arrested. While Chu Chen and Di Tian were heading north, Qian Renshui stood on a peak outside Heaven Do City. Suddenly, the Porcupine Fish Douluo and the Snake Lance Douluo appeared at her side. Young lord, you were right, one of them reported. Gurong has already gone to Shrek Academy to pick up Ning Rongrong, and Chen Xin was severely injured. The other added. Qian Renshui nodded. Chu Chen may blame me for acting on my own, but I can't let a friend be harmed, even if he's a sword Douluo. If I already planned to deal with the 7 treasure glazed tile school sooner or later, why not bring that plan forward? She turned and gave the order. Raid the 7 treasure glazed tile school. Bring Chen Xin to me. Do not kill him. No unnecessary casualties. Yes, they vanished. With their power, they reached the school in an instant. At that moment, Chen Xin was still barely recovering from a grave wound. Even though Ning Fengji had the strongest support abilities on hand, he couldn't restore Chen Xin's health in time. It was the perfect moment to seize him. Clad in black, the two descended from the sky and appeared inside the 7 treasure glazed tile school. Their spirit power surged outward like a dark storm, stealing the breath from everyone nearby. Some weaker spirit users even collapsed to the ground, vomiting blood. Who? Ningfengji rushed out. When he saw that both intruders were rower, titled Douluo, despair clouded his face. Of all times to attack, Chen Xian was badly hurt and Gu Rong was absent. If two titled Douluo wanted to, they could obliterate the entire school. Spirit Hall? Ningfengji thought immediately. Only Spirit Hall could deploy resources like this. Finish this quickly. No nonsense. Snake Lance Douluo commanded in a low voice. To conceal their identities, they released only overwhelming spirit pressure, not even using their spirit abilities. In the face of that suppression, no one within the 7 treasure glazed tile school could respond. With a punch, the porcupine fish Douluo tore a gap through the magnificent hall. At that moment, a thread of sword light flashed. Chen Xin, still weak from his wounds, sensed them and forced himself to strike despite the pain. The relapse of his injuries was agonizing. Chen Xin, you're finished. Come with us and spare yourself the pain, Snake Lance Douluo mocked. Either of them could have ended him then. Who are you? Chen Xin spat blood. He held his sword with trembling hands, barely propping himself up with the 7-kill sword. You don't need to know, one of them replied. Snake Lance Douluo surged forward, an overwhelming blow aimed to kill. Ningfengji's face changed. He wanted to rush to Chen Xin's aid, but another wave of pressure pinned him down, preventing him from even summoning his spirit. Although the 7 treasure glazed tile school had a few invited elders, most were only spirit saints or spirit Douluo. Against titled Douluo, they had no defense. Chen Xin retreated under the onslaught. He fought back with everything he had, and though he managed to wound Snake Lance Douluo, the damage was minimal. With a palm strike, Chen Xin spat another mouthful of blood and collapsed. The next blow knocked him unconscious. Snake Lance Douluo seized him and flew upward. Got him. Let's go, Porcupine Fish Douluo said, covering their retreat. When the two left, Ningfengji fell to the ground in despair. Chen Xin had been taken. There had been nothing he could do. The attackers' obvious focus on Chen Xin forced Ningfengji to reconsider. Were they really from Spirit Hall? Could the person behind this be Chu Chen? He thought. The possibility, though alarming, was not impossible. By the time the two titled Douluo succeeded, they had carried Chen Xin to a secret chamber prepared by Qian Renshui. The room was designed to suppress even a titled Douluo's spirit power. Don't let that fellow die, Qian Renshui ordered. I want his life and death to be for Chu Chen to decide. Chen Xin was badly wounded and unable to heal in captivity. A titled Douluo's vitality was tenacious. He would suffer and be tortured, but would not be allowed to die outright. Qian Renshui's icy decisiveness made the two captors feel an unexpected chill. The young lord really watches out for that Chu Chen, one of them murmured. I wouldn't call it watching out. It's falling in love, the other said. You're probably right, they agreed uneasily. Chu Chen didn't know that Qian Renshui had staged the raid to capture Chen Xin. At this moment, he was following Detian across a vast, boundless expanse of ice and snow. The world here was all white, glaciers and snowfields stretching to the horizon. Though monotone, it was a breathtaking sight for someone fresh to the place. This is the far north, a pure land few humans have set foot on, Chu Chen said softly. Be careful, the life-evil king is in the forest ahead, Detian warned. He was worried about leaving Chu Chen to face the life-evil king alone. If anything happened, the Silver Dragon King would be angry. Then prepare to send me in, Chu Chen said solemnly. His spirit power had built to the point where he could break through to level 70 at any moment. Here he began to circulate that accumulated force. The long-stored spirit power coiled within him, condensed, and pounded against his meridians until the final transformation was complete. A moment later, he broke through, level 70. Detian, drop me here. I'll go finish the life-evil king myself, Chu Chen said, looking back. Be careful, Detian replied, nodding. Chu Chen leaped down from the sky and vanished into the snow-laden forest below. Detian hovered above, watching him. Can he really do it? He murmured. The moment Chu Chen stepped among the trees, something felt off. The surrounding space distorted subtly, and despite being in the far north, where spirit beasts should be common, there was no sign of life. The forest was unnaturally silent. A small, unremarkable, pure white spore drifted on the wind and landed at his feet. Spores. Chu Chen's expression hardened. A surge of life aura burst from him and incinerated the spore instantly. As the spore disintegrated, a terrifying force rolled out from deep inside the woods. Chu Chen responded by summoning tendrils of the blue-silver emperor to coil around him. "Human, become my nourishment," a low voice whispered. "A human with a life attribute is particularly fine to devour," the voice continued. Unseen, countless spores swirled around him. Each looked ordinary, but now teemed with killing intent. A blue-gold light flared from Chu Chen. The Life Evil King had already fixed him as a target the moment he entered the forest. Sharing the life attribute made Chu Chen especially conspicuous to it. Life energy surged to the extreme and exploded outward. The blast flipped Chu Chen through the air, but he steadied himself. His blue-silver domain bloomed and his 17 whistled through. Though the spores filled the sky and seemed like the Life Evil King's main body, none of them were his true core. His true form remained buried in the forest's depths. That was the Life Evil King's strength, a spore plant whose boundless vitality let it grow and recover by devouring life. Even a single remaining spore could regrow it in short order. 23. Heh! Evil King Domain, the voice said. Chu Chen felt a powerful backlash that nearly suppressed his blue-silver domain. The Life Evil King also possessed a 23, an ability blending evil and life energies. Its 100,000-year foundation far surpassed Chu Chen's. "I can't win with the 23 alone. I must find his true body," Chu Chen thought, sending out his mental perception to search the forest. A sudden, aggressive surge of evil life energy descended from the sky, appearing as if from nowhere. Chu Chen had no time to react, until he did. Void. He slipped into a void state and avoided the strike. Using the blue-silver domain, he absorbed the surrounding life energy and unleashed Life Shock Blast, the third spirit ability, compressing life energy into an instantaneous shock. It was like a mental strike, but even harder to predict. The surrounding spores were caught in the blast and destroyed. Everything changed. The pristine white spores that had carpeted the forest suddenly turned blood red. The sky itself seemed to bloodlight, not weather, but an ocean of blood-colored spores. This was the Life Evil King's true form, an all-consuming, devouring power. "Devouring heaven and earth," the Life Evil King roared, releasing blood-tinted spores across the sky. Each spore carried terrible devouring energy, its most terrifying power. "Your life energy is strong," the Life Evil King chuckled, "but it will all become my nourishment." Chu Chen saw the blood spores begin to siphon the life energy he was releasing. He smirked coldly. "You want to compare devouring?" "Sixth spirit ability, life control," he called. "Blue-silver domain evolution skill, nature and heaven. Great desolation scripture." Chu Chen channeled the ultimate life aura of the blue-silver emperor. With absolute control of life, the blue-silver emperor array drew on natural power, and the great desolation scripture unleashed a colossal devouring force to meet the sky full of spores. The fight had become a contest of consumption, one life force against another. Golden light and blood-red light filled the forest. The Life Evil King, surprised that this tiny human could directly counter his devouring, murmured, "What a strange ability, human, I underestimated you." The blood-red light intensified. Spores crept close to Chu Chen, intent on eroding him, devouring flesh and life. He answered with another move. Myriad spirits surge. Though there were no spirit beasts nearby, plants still existed in the far north, and they possessed resilient vitality. Under the Great Desolation Scripture's extraction, those plants fed Chu Chen far more life energy than many other places would. The myriad spirit surge burst forth and isolated the surrounding blood-colored spores. "Ha ha! Tiny insect," the Life Evil King mocked. "Let's see how long your 20 can sustain you against me." Chu Chen admitted inwardly that he couldn't match the Life Evil King in endurance. Its power rivaled a titled Douluo, and Chu Chen hadn't yet reached true Spirit Saint. But he had another way. Golden bloodline power flared in his eyes. The power of destiny surged, driving his one to bloom a golden light of judgment that bathed heaven and earth. "Judgment of the fate dragon god," he cried. Chu Chen fused his learned power of destiny with the supreme mental strike of the One and unleashed it. The light of judgment erupted in full force. Fate's power, the natural nemesis of evil life forces like the life-evil kings, washed over the blood-colored spores and dissolved them instantly. What kind of power is this? The life-evil king hissed as its attack faltered. Seizing that instant of weakness, Chu Chen poured everything into the Great Desolation scripture. Chapter 113, Destructive Judgment. Two ferocious beasts descend. The light of judgment poured over heaven and earth, instantly sweeping across the entire forest. Ice and snow melted as the world trembled. Moon-colored spores that had filled the sky turned to ash and scattered. As destiny judgment continued its sweep, Chu Chen locked onto the true body of the life-evil king. "Found you!" he shouted. The ultimate life attribute in his hand flipped into ultimate destruction. With that shift, a space-tearing destruction dragon spear erupted into being, accompanied by the roars of 10,000 dragons. Chu Chen seized the spear and drove it through the void in a single thrust. Boom! Space shivered along its path, and the ground split open into an abyss. Destiny Judgment and the Destruction Dragon Spear followed in tandem, both locking onto the life-evil king. A world-shattering explosion rocked the plains. When the dust cleared, the Destruction Dragon Spear had already returned to Chu Chen's hand. A low, furious growl rolled across the ice. A massive black silhouette blotted out the sun, the true body of the life-evil king. It was grotesque and unique, like a titanic fungal plant, its countless tentacles spilling across the ground and its blood-red pupils flashing with a sinister light. "These spores of yours should have been destroyed long ago," Chu Chen said coldly. If even a single spore remained, the life-evil king could regenerate. Calling them his countless spores was no exaggeration. "You have enraged me," the life-evil king thundered. Evil light! The sky fractured. A blood-colored spiral storm nearly 10,000 meters wide coalesced, and at its eye descended a beam of light infused with the life-evil king's evil and life force. The evil light carried the power to dissolve everything. If it struck Chu Chen, he would likely be dissolved into life energy and absorbed. This foe's power was on the level of a 100,000-year spirit beast, incomprehensibly strong. "Come then, now that your true body has appeared, I no longer fear you." A dragon's roar erupted from the Destruction Dragon Spear. Dark purple destruction lightning shot upward, forming its own beam. When the two beams collided, their energies melted the surrounding ice and snow, turning the frozen plain into a churning sea. Caught in the storm of destruction, Chu Chen was forced back repeatedly. Though the divine artifact Destruction Dragon Spear had withstood the life-evil king's blow, its impact still battered him. To unleash the spear's full power, he needed to condense an even more terrible will of destruction. "Roar!" Chu Chen called forth his second spirit. It had not yet borne any spirit marks, but its bloodline power alone, enough to suppress the Silver Dragon King, was terrifying. The will of destruction within the Destruction Ancient Dragon resonated with the Destruction Dragon Spear. A true dragon spiraled into the sky. Dong! Chu Chen's world-shaking strike slammed toward the life-evil king's true body. Two beams of light shot from the king's blood-red pupils and fused in midair to meet them. This clash, for the first time, tipped in Chu Chen's favor. The spear's edge shone with overwhelming brilliance. Dragon phantoms manifested behind him by the thousands, their combined onslaught focused into the spear itself. Tears of the Dragon God. Destruction, Dragon Spear. Brilliant seven-colored light in Chu Chen's hand condensed into a droplet-shaped tear of the Dragon God. A divine artifact like this did more than unleash a powerful dragon strike. It allowed Chu Chen to commune with the plane of the Dragon Valley and mobilize the Dragon Clan's power, their true will. Destruction Verdict. Chu Chen unleashed the spear's full might. The Dragon Clan's will poured into the Destruction Dragon Spear, raising a blinding radiance. The life-evil king felt a chill. He knew the aura of the Dragon Clan. He had once narrowly escaped Detian's grasp, and now he could sense the Dragon Clan's arrival again. Fear tightened his heart. "Dragon Clan, I will devour you all, starting with you, human. Life devour, evil descends." Blood-colored light shot from the king's pupils into the sky. A massive, malevolent eye formed overhead, its gaze sweeping the land like that of an evil deity. Any living being within that gaze would have its vitality devoured. He intended to use this ultimate move to end Chu Chen once and for all. Boom! A blinding light swallowed all sight. The surviving air was torn by storms of destructive energy, and the shockwaves of the battle spread far across the tundra. Then two lights descended through that ruined sky, an icy blue and an emerald green. Two great, vicious beasts had arrived, the Ice Sky Snow Lady and the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion. Shuer, what is happening? Bingdi's face went pale. What sort of force could trigger such a cataclysm in the far north? The Snow Empress's expression matched his gravity. She sensed an evil life aura, an ultimate will of destruction, and the Dragon Clan's presence. Her gaze snapped to DTN, who watched the battle from above. DTN. DTN heard her and glanced at her with mild surprise. Ice Sky Snow Lady, I didn't expect you to arrive as well. Bingdi and the Snow Empress approached him. This was the far north. DTN's presence there made the Snow Empress realize that one of the two combatants below must be connected to him. DTN, what is going on? She asked without fear. DTN said nothing. Gradually, the dreadful light below began to dissipate. The blood-colored eye in the sky vanished. The Life-Evil King's true body, pounded by the will of destruction, lay broken and eroded. Even with its terrifying regenerative powers, the king's wounds would not heal quickly this time. Chu Chen still gripped the destruction dragon spear. Blood stained his clothes and his flesh was lacerated, but the killing intent in his eyes had not dimmed. Wildfire cannot burn it all. The spring breeze brings it back to life, he muttered, madness flaring in his gaze as he used the Blue-Silver Emperor's Spirit Bone skill to patch his wounds. Sixth spirit ability, Life Sacrifice. He sacrificed every scrap of life force he carried, condensing it into a burning life core. For a brief window, he gained incomparably terrifying power. Mountain Dragon King Torso Bone skill, Gravity Control. With emotion, he altered the gravity of the surrounding space, bending it to his will and locking the Life-Evil King in the warped field ahead. It's time to end this. The earth-shattering blow had left both Chu Chen and the Life-Evil King grievously wounded. Both shared the gift of using life energy to heal. But now, the Life-Evil King could not recover. No, my power, how can it be cut off? He growled, low and frantic. Chu Chen's earlier destruction verdict had driven the power of the destruction dragon spear and the eight to their absolute limit. When the light of judgment, bearing the power of destiny, swept across him, it severed his life force and devouring power outright. That was why the Life-Evil King could no longer mend his wounds. Human, he screamed, hysterical. Chu Chen only sneered. His moves had become ruthless. After executing life sacrifice and gravity control, he had already set up the finishing blow. He leaped into the air. Blue-gold light whipped into a maelstrom around the destruction dragon spear. Under extreme gravity, the spear's strike carried the weight of tens of millions of caddies of terrifying force. Descending like a rainbow from the heavens, it seemed capable of punching through the stars themselves. Boom! The destruction dragon spear took true dragon form and roared as it shot forward. Space trembled along its path. The galaxy seemed to tilt. The will of destruction even eroded the fabric of space. That much power. Such terrifying power. Can he really release this at this 51? DTN murmured, stunned. He had thought Chu Chen strong, but not capable of soloing the Life-Evil King, whose life and evil attributes and those abnormal spores made him dreadfully hard to kill. As long as even one spore survived, Infinite 47 could be achieved. Yet Chu Chen had used the auspicious beast's power of destiny to unleash the eight. That first judgment of the fate dragon god had annihilated all the Life-Evil King's spores, and the destruction verdict had just severed his ability to heal with his own life force. This strike, DTN realized, was intended as the killing blow. Not far off, the Snow Empress and the Ice Empress watched with astonishment and admiration. This human has extraordinary combat sense, the Snow Empress evaluated. To face an existence like the Life-Evil King and still respond so calmly, the Ice Empress added. Under the gaze of the three great vicious beasts, the destruction dragon spear slammed down, sending a tide of annihilation over everything. With a sickening squelch, it pierced the Life-Evil King's main body. To make sure there was no chance of recovery, Chu Chen poured all his mental strength into one final technique. Fifth spirit ability, Mental Shock. Behind him, a brilliant golden figure emerged. A vertical golden eye opened at its brow and radiated the power of destiny. Far away in the star-dough great forest, the three-eyed golden lion was likewise bathed in that power. The eye of destiny on its forehead opened and sensed Chu Chen's need. Through the shared power of destiny, the three-eyed golden lion aided Chu Chen, granting him that same power. Under the impact of this grant, Chu Chen's fifth, 35, instantly transformed, fusing, sublimating, and evolving into the shock of fate that held the power of destiny. Fifth spirit ability, shock of fate. Chu Chen's silhouette merged with the three-eyed golden lion's. A golden beam of the fifth two shot into the Life-Evil King's mind, shredding his spirit sea and annihilating him. Boom, the Life-Evil King gave up all signs of life. For a 100,000-year spirit beast that embodied extremes of life and evil, he should have been near immortal. But he had met Chu Chen, and 2 rays of judgment light had ended him. System message, Chu Chen. Chu Chen, you have completed the 4th trial of the Life God King's examination. God King affinity increased by 10% and 113 awarded. System message, your current God King affinity is 30%. System message, the 5th trial of the Life God King legacy has begun. Within 1 year, complete the final evolution of the blue-silver domain. Chu Chen, drained from the life or death clash, leaned back and slowly began to restore the 39 inside his body. Hearing the rewards made him hesitate. The appearance of a 13 put him in a small dilemma. If he absorbed the 13 himself, what would become of the Life-Evil King's 41? He considered it a moment and decided to ask the goddess of life in his mind. Senior, this 13, can it be given to my second spirit? The goddess of life's gentle voice answered, in principle, it is not allowed. But in this case, I am the principal, she continued. You should have heard Xiaozi's voice earlier, though his destruction God King examination for you has not yet started. This 13 is granted jointly by me and Xiaozi. You may absorb it as you wish. When her voice faded, Chu Chen's expression turned oddly amused. Divinities adhered to rules, yet the rules themselves were set by divinities. This couple really knows how to play, he said softly. He looked at the 100,000-year spirit ring that had emerged from the Life-Evil King and at the 100,000-year 42 within it, joy welling in his eyes. Now he possessed 4 42s, the 4D1, the 100,000-year soft bones rabbit left leg bone, the 100,000-year life dragon right arm bone, and the mountain dragon king torso bone. And now he was about to gain a 5th 42. Far away in the Heaven Do Empire, in a hidden, locked chamber, Chen sat imprisoned, hair disheveled. The arm torn off by Chu Chen's destruction dragon spear had been crudely bandaged. His aura was shriveled and waning as if he were at death's door. Chen Xin, this is the price for your assassination attempt on Chu Chen, a dark figure intoned. Chen Xin had endured unending torment. He was no longer the glorious sword Douluo he had been. After the 7 treasure glazed tile school lost Chen Xin, Ning Fengji and Gu Rong had both been driven mad. Qian Renshui had seen it all. For her, however, the outcome was not entirely unwelcome. The 7 treasure glazed tile school would have become her enemy sooner or later. She stood by the window, and for a moment, Chu Chen's smiling face seemed to appear before her eyes. Chu Chen, are you okay? She whispered, the question vanishing into the night. After killing the Life-Evil King, Di Tian landed before Chu Chen, his gaze carrying a hint of admiration. To actually use the light of judgment from the power of destiny to deal with the Life-Evil King, not bad. Di Tian's praise was sincere. The way Chu Chen had defeated the Life-Evil King was unheard of to him, yet it felt like a method only Chu Chen could pull off. He hadn't relied on destiny judgment alone. There had also been that terrifying destruction dragon spear. If I'd been even slightly careless with this fighting style, I would have been the one to fall, Chu Chen said, shaking his head. To slay a 100,000-year spirit beast while only at level 70, Tina required paying a price. Regardless, the winner is king. To Di Tian, the outcome justified the risk. Nearby, Chu Chen noticed the Snow Empress and the Ice Empress watching. He had guessed their identities, but had not expected his fight to draw them here. Di Tian, since when did your relations with humans become so good? The Snow Empress asked, her tone odd. This is the Lord's intention, Di Tian answered calmly. The 2 empresses were instantly shocked. The Lord? the shared co-lord of the spirit beasts. Would she actually recognize a human? Even after witnessing Chu Chen's strength, the presence of such potent Dragon Clan bloodline power in a human body seemed impossible. Human, you've eliminated the life-evil king for the far north, the Snow Empress said, stepping forward. Her voice was gentle but steady. That is also a favor to the 19Ms of the far north. Thank you. Neither empress had known the life-evil king had come to the far north. A being that devoured the cultivation of othern to grow could not be tolerated. Had the Snow Empress found it first, she might have acted immediately to destroy it, though the life-evil king's near immortality made that no easy task. There are no more 19s left in this area. He devoured them all. The Ice Empress added coldly. A race that fed off its kin would normally have been wiped out early on, but the life-evil king was an exception. The life-evil king was my target to begin with. No need to thank me, Chu Chen said with a smile and a shake of his head. He had returned to peak condition. After greeting the three, Tian included, he released the Blue-Silver Emperor and began to absorb the life-evil king's 22. At that instant, 6 22s, 4 black and 2 red, appeared above his Blue-Silver Emperor. Even Tian couldn't help but glance aside. Isn't it said that there are limits to humans absorbing 22s? The Ice Empress murmured in confusion. How had this human absorbed a 10,000-year level 22 as his first? How could his body endure it? He himself possesses the life attribute, someone said. With the king of the 17, the Blue-Silver Emperor, as his spirit, nothing is impossible. Tian sighed with emotion. Compared to the bodies of 19s, human potential was enormous. An average 19 might cultivate for 10,000 years to reach 100,000, yet a talented human could become a titled Douluo in decades and stand against a 100,000-year spirit beast. Such a disparity suggested the gap between the Soul Beast clan and humans would only widen. In several thousand or tens of thousands of years, the Soul Beast clan might face extinction. Truly a talented human, the Snow Empress said quietly. She and the Ice Empress lingered, wanting to see how Chu Chen would proceed. The energy of this life-evil king contains an extremely evil aura. It turned into a 2 and still tried to devour me, Chu Chen said, his tone icy. He felt the life-evil king's 31 attack, full of resentment and with a life-consuming aura seeking to consume him. You've already become a 22. How could I let you have your way? A glimmer of golden light flared as Chu Chen condensed the power of destiny. The pure Dragon Clan bloodline power swelled within him. Despite the life-evil king's immense unwillingness, the power of destiny tore through that corrupt force, destroying it utterly. Success! Chu Chen exhaled, then steadied himself to fuse the absorbed power. During the process, there were no disturbances. An hour later, his 20 jumped directly to level 72, and his 7th 22 began to circle above the Blue-Silver Emperor. Boom! A brilliant golden light exploded across the horizon. Countless Blue-Silver Emperors burst up from the frozen ground of the plain, each breaking the ice and rising with a radiant golden aura, the absolute aura of life. Perched above them all, Chu Chen descended like an emperor. As his 7th 22 bloomed, his avatar of martial soul finally manifested, Blue-Silver True Body. So this is the power of the Blue-Silver True Body. My strength actually increased this much. Chu Chen was elated. He released the Blue-Silver domain once more. With the 7th 22 enhancing the mechanism, the innate 28 evolved again, becoming even more formidable. The Blue-Silver domain instantly expanded to a radius of 10,000 meters. Within that range, life exploded. Seeds buried deep in the frozen soil sprouted at once. Withered trees revived as if spring had come overnight. The entire ice plain began to green and bloom. What terrifying control over life, the Snow Empress murmured in admiration. To imagine this far north ice plain shaded by green trees and bursting with flowers, adding color to the silver-barrened land, was astonishing. This was Chu Chen's ultimate vitality. Golden light submerged him. With a wave of his hand, countless threads of life energy, silk thin, wound tightly around him in a living binding. Boom! All of nature cried out, the voice of life rising from earth and plant alike. Chu Chen retracted the Blue-Silver True Body and once more stirred the flow of life energy. The spirit bone of the life-evil king began fusing with him. The assimilation was smooth and complete. When the absorption finished, Chu Chen's cultivation leapt to level 73. He sat cross-legged amid the lush sea of flowers, adjusting his breathing to a perfect rhythm. As he used that Turth 3, his second spirit, Destruction Ancient Dragon, immediately emerged. Chapter 116, Return to Heaven. Do, Revenge. 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Where did his second 20 come from? DTN's pupils narrowed. He didn't understand why Chu Chen had another. It certainly hadn't come from hunting spirit beasts. Could it be a divinity? This human actually possesses 2 spirits. The Snow Empress's expression turned solemn as she leaned close and warned DTN. DTN, I don't know what happened between this human and the Lord, but he is still human. If he shows talent like this, and one day becomes an enemy of the Soul Beast clan. The Snow Empress could not imagine the future, but she knew that if the races ever went to war, individuals would likely choose their own kind. Chu Chen would almost certainly side with humanity. Would the Soul Beast clan's actions today be seen as aiding a tyrant? She sighed softly and, after a brief recap from DTN about their first meeting and the events that followed, exchanged one last anxious look with the Ice Empress. I hope what you did today doesn't create a future arch-enemy for the Soul Beast clan. With that, she and the Ice Empress transformed into beams of light and vanished into the snowy expanse. It's done. The first 27 of the Destruction Ancient Dragon. Chu Chen came out of the absorption trance. Behind him, the Will of Destruction swirled, forming the shadow of a circling dragon. Black-purple destruction lightning flared, and a red 100,000-year spirit ring rose into being. DTN had wanted to ask where the 2027 had come from, but then thought better of it. If this involved a divinity, Chu Chen would never tell the truth, so there was no point in asking. Senior DTN, we should head back, Chu Chen said coolly. A flash of killing intent crossed his eyes. The debt left by Chen Xin's earlier assassination attempt needed to be paid. Now that Chu Chen had sufficient strength, even a titled Douluo was no longer something to fear. An ordinary titled Douluo simply couldn't kill him anymore. Under the protection of DTN's superb 12, Chu Chen soon returned to the territory of the Heaven Do Empire. Let's go back to the academy first. He descended and reappeared at the Heaven Do Royal Academy. Though he'd been gone only a few days, so much had happened, and the situation had been perilous. Swish! A dark green energy manifested silently behind him. Before Douluo could fully react, the blue-silver emperor, razor-sharp and precise, pierced toward him. Old poison, you were too slow this time. Chu Chen smiled faintly and retracted the weapon. Not bad. I haven't seen you for a few days, and your strength actually feels even more terrifying. What level is your 26 now? Douluo stared in surprise. Chu Chen's perception and reaction speed could now match a titled Douluo, which was unreal. Currently, it should be at level 74. Chu Chen's casual answer made Douluo want to curse. This man was impossible. By the way, I have something to tell you. Just as Chu Chen was about to go find Ye Lingling, Douluo pulled him into a room. Chu Chen looked at Douluo's solemn face, puzzled. What is it? During the few days you were gone, the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School suffered a disaster. Did you know? Douluo said. Chu Chen's expression turned serious. He frowned. What happened? For some reason, Sword Douluo Chen Xin was seriously injured. One of his arms was even torn off. And not long after that, while Bone Douluo went to Shrek Academy to fetch Ningrongrong back to the sect. Douluo hesitated, then continued. Someone attacked the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. The target was clear, Chen Xin. As a result, the already badly injured Chen Xin was taken away, and the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School suffered a massive blow. Chu Chen's face changed at Douluo's words. He already knew Chen Xin's arm had been severed, but he hadn't known the full aftermath. For some reason, Qian Renshui flashed through his mind. If she had done this, it would make sense. Only someone like her might have such capability. Seeing Chu Chen fall silent, Douluo pressed. Hey, are you even listening? Chen Xin's injury was my doing. Chu Chen said it plainly. Douluo froze, as if trying to process those words. Then he barked, incredulous. What? His shout was loud enough to draw Du Guyan and Ye Lingling, who had just returned. Duguyan assumed only Dugubo was inside and pushed the door open, only to see Chu Chen. Ye Lingling's face lit up when she saw him. Chu Chen took her hand and sat beside her. He had no intention of hiding the truth. Everyone here was trustworthy. When I was returning to Dihun village, Chen Xin ambushed me halfway. I struck with everything I had and shattered one of his arms. That's why he was so badly injured. At Chu Chen's calm recounting, all three listeners grew pale. Ye Lingling's eyes brimmed with tears, filled with worry as she looked at him. Chu Chen had spoken with ease, but they knew how costly that attack must have been, and they were right. Chu Chen had pushed until his 26 was exhausted, his life energy unstable, almost to the point of death. So it was your doing. Then Chen Xin being captured afterwards was also, Dugubo demanded. It wasn't me. I don't know who took Chen Xin away, Chu Chen replied. He had a faint suspicion, but he needed proof. Dugubo guessed aloud. That's strange. Could it be someone stood up for you? Was it the senior who appeared at the Spirit Master tournament 4 years ago? Duguyan suggested. If it were him, I'm afraid the 7 treasure glazed tile school would have been destroyed with one swipe. Of course it wasn't Dtian. At that time, Dtian had been searching for traces of the life-evil king. Old poison. Tomorrow you and I will go to the 7 treasure glazed tile school, Dugubo said. I, Chu Chen, am not someone anyone can bully. Those who want to kill me must pay the price. Chu Chen's face was ice cold, his voice filled with deadly resolve. He intended to settle accounts with the 7 treasure glazed tile school. Indeed, this debt cannot be left unsettled with them. Dugubo's eyes chilled. If he were the man he used to be, he might have hesitated to strike at the 7 treasure glazed tile school. But that was no longer the case. His rank had already climbed to 96. He had 3 spirit bones, one of them exceptionally rare. Gu Rong was only rank 95. My current strength is thanks to you, Dugubo said with an easy smile. Of course I'll help. He had the confidence to back up those words. In a one-on-one fight now, even Gu Rong would not be a match. And with Chen Xin gone from the 7 treasure glazed tile school, destroying the sect would be far simpler. I support your revenge, Dugubo added, then grew serious. But if one of the upper 3 sects is wiped out, the balance on the Douluo continent will change. Spirit Hall may well intervene. I need an answer from you. Chu Chen's face was calm. He clearly already had his own plan. He glanced at Ye Lingling, who watched him with worried eyes, and smiled faintly. That night, the moon hung high. Chu Chen's figure flicked across the sky without a trace of aura, appearing outside the Heaven Do imperial family residence. He landed quietly on the roof and waited. Are you here to see the young lord? A low voice asked. A shadow detached itself from the darkness. The snake Lance Douluo, who had sensed Chu Chen's arrival and guessed his purpose. Chu Chen's silence about Qian Renshui's identity had already marked him as someone they could be linked to. Yes, tell her I'll meet her at the old place, Chu Chen said. In an instant, his body became a streak of blue-gold light and shot off into the night. The snake Lance Douluo stood frozen for a heartbeat, suddenly aware of an odd quickening in his chest faced with Chu Chen. Whatever this youth's power had become, it had grown frighteningly great. At the old place, Chu Chen waited a while, then a graceful figure descended from the sky, as ethereal as a fairy in the moonlight. Qian Renshui's worried expression softened into a smile when she saw him. You're back, she said. She scanned him quickly for injuries. When she saw none, her tense heart relaxed. You took Chen Xin? Chu Chen sat nearby, utterly composed. Qian Renshui nodded. Yes. She hesitated, then asked tentatively, You won't blame me for taking matters into my own hands, will you? Chu Chen laughed. You stood up for me. If I blamed you, I'd be ungrateful. Is Chen Jin dead? He won't die, Qian Renshui said, but he won't be having a good time. Do you want to deal with him personally? Chen Jin is insignificant, Chu Chen said. Then his tone turned serious. There's something I need to discuss with you. Tomorrow, I plan to go to the 7 treasure glazed tile school to take my revenge. Qian Renshui's eyes widened. The admission hit her like a thunderclap. She recovered quickly and asked, Do you want my help? Chu Chen shook his head. I no longer fear the 7 treasure glazed tile school. What concerns me is that if one of the upper 3 sects falls, you and Bibidong may be forced to act sooner than planned. I want to know what you will do. Qian Renshui fell silent, thinking it through. The seven treasure glazed tile school sat close to the Heaven Do imperial family. News of its destruction would shake the Heaven Do empire. Would she have to accelerate her own scheme? Her long-running plan, to poison Emperor Shuiye and seize the throne, had been carefully patient precisely because of variables like Ning Fengji and the backing of the seven treasure glazed tile pagoda. A sudden collapse of that support would change everything. "I believe in you," she said at last. "If the seven treasure glazed tile school falls, the imperial family's strength will be seriously weakened." Her eyes brightened as the implications ran through her mind. The stability she had been waiting for might finally shift. "I'll think it over. But Chu Chen, will you stand by my side?" Qian Renshui looked at him with genuine, searching eyes. She knew his talent was terrifying. To have him as an ally was a blessing. To have him as an enemy was a nightmare she dared not imagine. "When have I ever not stood by you?" Chu Chen answered with a soft smile. He rose to leave. The meeting had achieved its purpose, and tomorrow required preparation. After this, the continent will enter a period of turmoil. "Finding a corner of peace in such chaos is so hard," Qian Renshui murmured. Chu Chen waved off the worry, then stepped back. She hesitated, then blurted quietly, "Chu Chen, I hope our relationship is more than this. If we're only close friends, I won't be satisfied." Chu Chen's expression shifted. He leaned close, and his voice low replied, "Thank you for standing up for me. Be careful when you carry out your plan." Relief shone on Qian Renshui's face. She watched him go, her eyes filled with feeling. "Chu Chen, you must be careful." Yilingling called as she and Du Guyan watched Chu Chen and Du Gubo depart. Yilingling had wanted to go with them, but in her current state, she could do little. She bit her lip, hesitated, and ultimately chose to stay behind, to wait for Chu Chen's safe return. After the farewells, the last warmth faded from Chu Chen's eyes, replaced by a cold, lethal resolve. He and Du Gubo rose into the sky, their destination the seven treasure glazed tile school. "Didn't you make any plan?" Du Gubo asked. "What plan is needed?" Chu Chen said, "Tonight there will be only one outcome, the destruction of the seven treasure glazed tile school." He harbored no goodwill for the hypocritical Ning Fengji. Chen Xin had nearly killed him. Such debts had to be repaid. They arrived before long. A golden light flared in Chu Chen's hand and solidified into the blue-silver spear, which fell from his palm like a shooting star, striking down toward the sect with unstoppable force. Chapter 118. Chu Chen shows no mercy. Oscar dies tragically. Boom. Golden light fell from the sky like a curtain, scattering hundreds of feet of radiance. The blue-silver emperor in Chu Chen's hand condensed with a majestic destructive force, a swirl of pure life energy. With a single spear thrust, the weapon pierced straight through the ornate halls of the seven treasure-glazed tile school. "Who's there?" a low voice demanded. A massive bone dragon beat its wings and dropped from the heavens. Before the dragon, Gurong's whole body erupted with fierce spiritual power. His expression changed the instant he saw Chu Chen and Du Gubo. Ning Fengji had appeared too. When he saw Chu Chen, his face went pale, as if a long-feared day had finally come. "Schoolmaster Ning," Chu Chen said without preamble, "I don't think there's need for much explanation." Ning Fengji forced a conciliatory smile and bowed slightly. "Little friend Chu Chen, I apologize for our school's sword Douluo attacking and wounding you. Uncle Jian paid a heavy price. My seven treasure glazed tile school is willing to make amends. We will offer any terms to satisfy you. Can we let this matter rest?" Chu Chen toyed with the gold-veined blue-silver emperor in his hand, his voice cool and mocking. "I'll think about it." Ning Fengji's hopes surged. Perhaps things could be patched over yet. But the hope died in an instant. Boom! Powerful life energy erupted from within Chu Chen. Tendrils of the blue-silver emperor tore up from the earth and wove together in the air, condensing into a terrifying peak of vitality. Life Shock Blast, a third spirit ability, exploded outward. With a single moment's attack, most of the seven treasure glazed tile school's disciples collapsed to the ground, unable to rise. Some spat blood and showed no signs of life. "I thought about it," Chu Chen said coldly, "and wiping you out is more practical." Ning Fengji's face went stiff with rage. Above, Gurong's fury flared. "You two, you think you can destroy the seven treasure glazed tile school?" he roared. The bone dragon bellowed as Gurong lunged through overlapping layers of space toward Chu Chen. The jade-green miasma of Dugubo's jade phosphor serpent spilled out in a poisonous haze. Calmly, Dugubo threw a punch through the air and shoved Gurong back. "Old Bone, your opponent is me," he said with his hands folded behind his back. "My own strength grew because of him," Gurong shot back. "Dugubo, who do you think you'll side with?" Dugubo's tone turned ruthless. "Chen Xin, a titled Douluo, attacked Chu Chen when he was only a spirit emperor. You call that attacking and injuring? If it weren't for Chen Xin's own weakness, if Chu Chen had been truly harmed, I would have poisoned your entire school long ago." Without another word, he resumed fighting Gurong high above. The rank 96 Jade Phosphor Serpent showed formidable might. In realm terms, he had already overtaken Gurong. Then Dugubo used his sixth spirit ability, Mental Shock, striking at Ningfengji's mind. Chu Chen had been prepared for Ningfengji's interference. His sixth ability, a Shock of Spirit, landed under the amplifications of the divine artifact he carried, and 100,000-year-old spirit bone from the life-evil king. His mental attack reached a terrifying level. Ningfengji groaned as blood leaked from his 7 orifices. "Father!" Ningrongrong cried, rushing forward to support Ningfengji. To Chu Chen's mild surprise, Tang San and Oscar had also arrived beside Ningrongrong. The instant Tang San saw him, killing intent flared. Oscar quickly produced a sausage for Ningfengji to swallow, and then, with the school's summoned guest elders, prepared for battle. 3 spirit saints and 1 spirit Douluo. An insufficiently offensive lineup for such a desperate defense, but the school had called them in regardless. "You dare wound the sect master!" one of the spirit Douluo-level men shouted. His body bulged, shining with a red-gold light as the optimal spirit configuration flared at his back. Another spirit saint stepped forward and readied a heavy saber, condensing killing spirit. Chu Chen gave them no quarter. Life energy descended and formed an invisible cage around everyone. Third spirit ability, Life Hunyuan Matrix, he called. The matrix bound them, life energy within it, triggering vicious shockwaves continuously. How could young-ranked spirit masters like Ningrongrong and Oscar withstand such sustained life force assault? Ningrongrong spat blood, eyes full of venomous hatred. Chu Chen ignored her and focused on the stronger opponents. "We must kill him." Tang San roared, unleashing the 5 10,000-year clear sky hammers. Wind howled as the hammers cut through the air. But Chu Chen's smile was faint and unbothered. The blue-silver emperor bloomed and condensed into a long spear in his grip, its shape eerily like the destruction dragon spear. "Fourth spirit ability, Life Enhancement," he announced. The spear's gold veins blackened into ink, and it dove into a refined form. With a blink, he teleported before a spirit saint wielding a large saber. The saint's blade had condensed killing force, and he moved with agility, but a single strike from Chu Chen swept him aside. The spear bound him and pierced his heart. He crumpled. After dispatching 1 guest elder with brutal efficiency, Chu Chen launched another blow. Light exploded from his fist, actually sending Tang San's clear sky hammers flying. Tang San's arm bent under the force. With Chu Chen's current power, far beyond a mere spirit king, Tang San was no more than a desperate annoyance. Ningrongrong gritted her teeth under the life energy's pressure and tried to support the others. Ningfengji, shamed and injured, struggled to recover and lend his aid, but Chu Chen would allow them no chance to regroup. "Seventh spirit ability, Blue-Silver True Body," he declared. The Blue-Silver Emperor surged into the sky, golden light shredding heaven and earth as boundless life energy rushed to his command. With a casual swing, he unleashed terrible power. The main hall of the 7-treasure glazed tile school collapsed in an instant, reduced to rubble. At the same time, brilliant 7-colored light flared from Chu Chen's body, and a dragon's roar full of the power of destiny echoed out. The roar detonated through the Life Hunyuan matrix, and the shock was apocalyptic. Bodies and heads were torn apart one after another in a grisly, instantaneous carnage. The guest elders, Ningfengji and Ningrongrong, Tang San, all were blasted back. Oscar, who had been shielding Ningrongrong, was not spared. His body exploded in a miserable, tragic way. He disintegrated before anyone could even react. Silence fell like a tomb for a moment, broken only by the settling dust and the distant cries of the wounded. Chu Chen stood amid the ruin, the blue-silver emperor dripping with light, his face as cold and merciless as ever. Chapter 119. Ancient Banyan Tree Self-Destructs. Despair. Chu Chen's strike, the dragon roar of destiny, hit like a blow that tore at Tang San's very spirit core. The clear sky hammer was blasted from his hands, and he collapsed, convulsing on the ground. Hatred surged through him. He had only come with Ning Fengji to discuss founding the Tang sect. How had they run into a madman like Chu Chen, who was intent on annihilating the school? Oscar! Ning Rongrong's cry cut through the air. She had only just begun to love Oscar. Now he lay dead, his flesh scattered. The sight shattered her. She sank to her knees, dazed. Despair flooded the seven-treasure glazed tile school. Aside from Gu Rong, the strongest present had been the spirit Douluo, who had summoned the red-gold savage bear, but even he had been blasted away by Chu Chen's earlier attack. Boom! Gu Rong, locked in a death struggle with Du Gubo, heard a whistling sound beside him and couldn't dodge. A blue-silver emperor spirit manifestation pierced through his defenses. Though it did not strike him directly, Du Gubo seized the instant. Bolstered by the despair domain, he threw a punch that whipped up emerald light. Gu Rong was struck and plummeted from the sky, spitting blood, his wound already corroded by Du Gubo's lethal poison. This was fatal. Du Gubo's strength. How could he be rank 96? He just said it was because of Chu Chen. A sliver of despair crept into Gu Rong's heart. He himself had been stuck at rank 95 for a long time, unable to break through, yet Du Gubo had somehow reached rank 96. Old Bone, you've gotten old, Chu Chen said coolly. Chu Chen and Du Gubo landed together. The seven-treasure glazed tile school's members clustered around them. Though far outnumbering the two intruders, they were being relentlessly suppressed. You. Gu Rong's blood burned. He could barely speak. Chu Chen, do you truly mean to exterminate the seven-treasure glazed tile school? Ning Fengji ground his teeth. The seven-treasure glazed tile school is on good terms with the Heaven Do imperial family. This makes us enemies with the whole empire. The imperial family can barely protect themselves. Words like that don't scare me. Chu Chen stepped forward without emotion and scooped Ning Rongrong up like a limp rag, watching her struggle. Ning Fengji and Gu Rong went pale. You, don't hurt Rongrong. Ning Fengji's eyes were wild with fury and grief. Seeing Ning Rongrong thrash in Chu Chen's hand tore at him. He regretted it, how he regretted sending her to that Shrek place. If not for that, they might never have crossed Chu Chen. If Chen Xin had not tried to assassinate Chu Chen in a fit of anger, none of this might have happened. You won't die well. Ning Rongrong gasped, desolate. The noble image of the young miss was gone. Her clothes were torn and stained with blood. I'm living quite well, but your mouth is too much, Chu Chen replied, then slapped her. She flew through the air and rolled to Ning Fengxi's side with half her face swollen. I'll kill you! Gu Rong bellowed red-eyed, ready to die with Chu Chen. The remaining spirit power in his body surged. A bone dragon's roar sounded like the voice of hell. A massive bone dragon descended, exerting crushing pressure. Chu Chen merely smiled. He took a step, and behind him a terrifying dragon shadow bloomed. Space seemed to harden as the black-purple will of destruction swept outward. A monstrous spirit ring, like a 100,000-year apparition, flared to life. He has a second spirit. Ning Fengji's voice trembled. Terror filled his eyes as he finally understood what they had provoked. If Chu Chen were given time to grow, no one on the Douluo continent might stop him. Under the weight of the destruction ancient dragon's pressure, the bone dragon's weak bloodline power could not resist. The pressure crushed it, fading away. Boom! Gu Rong's 9 spirit rings erupted and blazed at once. Power surged from his core. He was burning his life force. He was going to self-detonate. Uncle Bone, Ning Fengji pleaded desperately. Chu Chen, if you spare them, I'll take my own life here. That way, it will be revenge. Chu Chen hadn't expected that offer, but he wasn't inclined to grant clemency. Whether bound by father-daughter affection or last words, he had no interest. Pity, I'm not very willing, he said with a grin. Carrying the will of destruction, he advanced steadily toward Ning Fengji and the others. Du Gubo stayed close, shocked and exhilarated. He remembered meeting Chu Chen when the younger had been only a minor spirit ancestor. Now Chu Chen could annihilate a titan like the seven-treasure glazed tile school. Du Gubo felt a secret, fierce joy. Getting to know Chu Chen had been the best choice he'd ever made. Brat, even if I die today, I'll take you with me. Gurong went berserk. The violent power inside him mounted. A titled Douluo's self-detonation was no small matter. Chu Chen and Dugubo stepped back. Gurong merged with the Bone Dragon and unleashed a sky-darkening force, using the dragon's spatial power to trigger a spatial lock. He intended to drag Chu Chen and Dugubo into hell with him. Spatial power, is it? Chu Chen sensed the barrier. A thread of black gold light tore through the locking field as the destruction dragon spear pierced the spatial layer. Seizing the opening, Chu Chen and Dugubo slipped free of Gurong's trap. Despair flooded Gurong. Too late. Boom! The explosion obliterated everything. The sky went ashen. A dead silence followed. The magnificent seven-treasure glazed tile school lay in ruins. The school's members suffered heavy casualties. Ning Fengji remained, broken and gravely wounded, his body ruined, eyes burning with murderous fury as he stared at Chu Chen.